seeds playing against number 2 seeds. Now, if you're joining us here, hopefully it's over at the event site. Event.brawlstars.com is the place to be to get involved with all the action if you couldn't make it out to Brawlfest itself. You can vote, connect your Supercell account, and give yourself the chance to earn some fantastic in-game goodies, including star drops, pins, and a hypercharge if you make it to the end of that road. So make sure you get your predictions in. We've done so. All of us, as casters and broadcast team, have put our thoughts forward, and we are pretty united here in our predictions. We all feel like SK Gaming will be over Elevate in that first game. I tell you what, though, these are all tough to call, many of them, in fact, but the only difference is here, Ready Set thinks that Foot Esports can take down Elevate in that max 3 of Group A.
I mean, Ready Set definitely trying to get his foot in the door there to really just branch away from all of us. But it's a really, really tough matchup. Let's be honest, that one. Very, very hard to call in terms of that kind of 50-50 split. And I don't blame them for it. For Esports knocked out Tribe Gaming to get here in the LCQ to get their golden ticket. So, hey, I don't mind it.
Absolutely. You can see, though, we definitely are on the same page in many of those predictions. Perhaps you guys have a different idea. We want to hear about it over at event.brawlstars.com. Now, we've set the scene, we've set the stakes, and of course, we've given you the ground rules. Let's head now down to the floor to properly get this party started.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Uber and Ark. Those predictions are looking very similar, aren't they? But you know what? Each of those groups, like you both said, is looking extremely spicy. But for now, I'd like to just quickly touch on something. The fact that you may see a little glimmer of gold over my right shoulder if you're watching at home. And that is because what would a competition be without a beautiful trophy? And ours is in the form of a Brawl Stars Championship belt. And it looks absolutely stunning. And I love it. Very on brand, isn't it? But if one of our teams wants this belt bad enough, all they got to do is just smash their way through 11 of the best Brawl Stars teams in the world. No easy feat, right? But like Uber said, it is time to get this party started and get our first match underway. So let's introduce your first 2 teams to the main stage, kicking things off with one of the most decorated teams within the Brawl Stars esports space. It is Joker, Yoshi, Lenan. They are SK Gaming. Now their opponents all the way from North America making their World Finals debut. It's Zeus, RBM, and Luffy. They are Elevate.
Team, and like Barney said, it's a decorated roster, very well known, sometimes infamous, depending on the year. SK Gaming come out of their region as the number 3 seed, but this is a star-studded lineup.
It really is. I mean, what a way to start the year, finding out that Joker was going to be leaving Reply Totem for this squad. And again, it's the 5th year that SK Gaming have competed in the World Finals. And this man right here is a danger. He really, really is. Joker has had a phenomenal career so far. Of course, very, very good and accomplished on those very aggressive brawlers like that Max pick, and certainly knows how to keep his cool on the world stage. I really feel like, staring into his eyes, it's going to be a tough feat.
In the past, Joker, the superstar of that Reply Totem team, but now on SK, seen more of a facilitator. Big voice in the drafts, real strategic mind for the game despite being quite a young age. But let's talk a bit more about their opponents. Let's talk about this Elevate roster. They come together here. It's the veteran RBM surrounded by upcomers Zeus and Luffy, and they blew our minds. For much of the year in North America, we really thought it would be a Pioneers region, but that last monthly final saw Elevate shoot up into first place, and this man on your screen, a big part of it. RBM has a score
a lot of
set
background noise, I guess.
that knocked him out of the World Finals in 2022, back when he was on Vatra Gaming.
Exactly that. Paris World Finals, of course, did send him home.
So guys, welcome to the watch party. और आज हम लोग पूरा स्ट्रीम हिंदी में करेंगे. लेट्स गो. और बैकग्राउंड में अगर फटाकड़ी की आवाज़ आएगी तो बेयर कर लेना, क्योंकि ये मैं फर्स्ट टाइम कर रहा हूँ इसके लिए.
Number 1 seed from NA versus number 3 seed from EMEA. It's that experience at LAN in these high-pressure environments that makes us trend towards SK as favourites.
I think that's fair to say. The way I see Elevate is much the way that I kind of saw Vatra Gaming in 2022. Coming into that World Finals, we had very high expectations of that squad. And it was a bit of a tough one, facing what was at the time the number 2 seed in the EMEA region of Reply Totem. And they could have been a team that could have gone all the way. That's kind of how I see Elevate. They could do exceptionally well in this competition, but it's all well and good when you're at home with your cup of cocoa and your PJs, playing Brawl and getting to grand finals wins and monthly finals. It's a very different story on this stage with every single person in the audience judging your every move and your opposition staring you in the eye.
There was a vote pretty heavily in favour of SK Gaming. That's you folks at home getting behind your teams if you want to be part of that. Remember, at event.brawlstars.com. Straight into the drafts here, and immediately we see the Kenji band out. We're going to Bell's Rock, by the way. It is knockout, and so RT will be snapped up awful quick.
I really do like the RT pick. It's very versatile, and again, with that little bit of a little rework slightly now, can now go over the sort of lakey areas and water areas. Not going to be a factor on this map, however, but certainly for that late game approach, having that leg form can just bring a great deal of aggression and DPS damage.
You have Sharpshooter. That is extremely dangerous to try and dive as well. RT kind of does it all. Especially when he was first released into the game, we couldn't believe just how versatile he was across sort of all attack ranges of the game. Not a surprise to see the Sprout here. Very important to shut a sharpshooter like RT or Bell down by blocking off a lane with a hedge.
I like the way that things are shaping up for SK Gaming. The Bell is a very safe pick on this map and certainly can encourage that kind of clustering to occur when you're under pressure, and that's where Bell can really kind of thrive. Elevate will have to separate themselves out a little bit more so now that that Brawn's on the field. Sprout first pick is quite a dangerous thing to do. In fact, in draft, normally it's safe for that third brawler pick, and for that same reason, it's going to give time for a counter, and hence the Mo coming in. I mean, how that brawler sort of escaped the banning phase is quite amazing to me, honestly. The Kenji was there, but the Mo is still, in my opinion, just slightly better as a brawler pick, so it would have been an ideal first pick, honestly, for SK.
SK did not want to play Sprout into Tick. I think that's why we see that come up in the bans. And the Kit Cheese was something we saw a lot in North America. Late round, like Kit combined with the tank. Eventually, you're forced to play inside the gas, right? Kit can really give you that edge here. Daryl, of course, very, very strong pick here with that rework to his super. He is an absolute menace. He's so hard to peel off you.
SK need to have a solid response for this, honestly, because the Sprout is going to be very, very precarious. Once that Daryl wants to roll, that is going to be a prime target, as is the Mo. I think, honestly, SK in a bit of a spot here. They've got to have a very, very solid shutdown for this. This could be an idea to escape into the realm, but I think that's not even going to necessarily be enough here. I think they might be under a bit of a tough spot to really find something that's going to be able to take care of both a Mo and a Daryl.
Rico going to be the pick here for SK Gaming to round out their composition. Now again, when Joker came into this team at the start of the year, he was intended to bring a little bit more of that depth to the drafts, to work with Pedro, coming up with those strategies, and crucially, set up Lena for success. SK Gaming put a lot of resources into making sure the Schweitzer of Lena can get out there and do his job.
Well, Joker said in the BSEN interview that he wants to allow Lenan to play to his strengths, to try to adapt to his needs. And there's not really a brawler that I feel does that in this comp, honestly. I mean, the Bell is definitely my favorite brawler in the SK Gaming comp, but I mean, they're going to be depending a lot on this Rico to whittle down the HP because it's a dangerous comp that they're up against.
Here we go, folks. Time to kick things off for your Brawl Stars World Finals for 2024. It's Knockout and Bell's Rock where we begin. And already, this damage from Rico, definitely a little annoying. Joker able to control the middle part of the map and force RBM to the extremities here. Full map control for SK Gaming. Can they convert?
Well, RBM's going to choose to roll in straight away. What a great wall there from Yoshi! And RBM just bouncing from up to down there. Now he's in a bit of a precarious position with 5,000 HP, and Joker knows it, trying to double down there.
Oh dear.
Getting the angle, he gets the takedown. Lovely stuff from SK out the gates.
And it's not just sharpshooters, he gets shut down by that hedge. Yoshi able to deny the Daryl access. And Luffy now is going to be brought down, leaving Zeus in a 1 versus 3. Probably doesn't want to let Joker build up a super, but he gets there anyway. And SK look That looked devastating and dangerous for this next round.
3 supers across the board for SK and a hypercharge there on Yoshi. What a fantastic opening round that really was. They've got to keep it up because RBM is really quite dangerous. There's the wall there from Yoshi. Just being able to reposition himself, get the mark there on Zeus as well.
Luffy.
The roll in from RBM, or Luffy rather on that Mo pick. Gets the takedown of Lanan and makes it a 3 versus 2.
He wants to get out to alive, ideally. Here comes the tar barrel from RBM to try and slow SK Gaming down. But Joker with the bouncy castle heals up, forces RBM back. Zeus has been marked this whole round and has had to play so carefully.
Now just getting the pinch forwards. Yoshi there and Joker going to have to work harmoniously well here. Zeus is marked up still, and that is a concern as Yoshi fires 3 consecutive shots now. And the aggression now will just continue to RBM. He's going to try and buy his time, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. We'll be whistling down lower and lower, and he will fall as SK Gaming take the first game.
What a nasty draft here from SK Gaming. Everything they need to shut the Daryl down. Luffy able to go in on the Mo, use that super and guarantee a kill, but doesn't get out alive. It turns it into a trade. And the elements that are left for SK, the Rico and the Sprout, is more than enough to close a round.
I've got to say I'm really impressed the way that SK held their own. They're really up against a great deal with this comp that Elevator brought to the table. It's a fantastic draft, no doubt about it. But they are struggling to make it work so far. I want to see a bit more communication between RBM and Luffy to try to time those runs correctly. And SK know this early outset, they've got to go a little bit more on the aggressive here and just try to whittle things down before RBM and Luffy have those supers to hand.
That multi-ball launcher is so dangerous. The Rico gadget from Joker basically forces Elevate away instantly. Here's the tar barrel. RBM sees an opportunity and Yoshi can't save himself with a hedge. That's the one now for Elevate. In they want to come. Lanar a little bit low here. Luffy still has to respect the damage from the bell, and RBM able to dodge away from that Rico super. It's getting a little bit dangerous over here for SK. They don't quite have the room to breathe to heal back up. But Luffy takes his foot off the gas, and that's Lanar getting picked up by Zeus.
And this should be relatively straightforward now for Elevate. There was a bit of a glimmer there when Joker had some great shots onto RBM. It may have been a takedown. It could have been a different story, but it's not to be. Elevate start to gain a little bit of momentum now. Getting around is a crucial thing to get off that mark.
Crucially, RBM also brings a super into this round. So can dive, still has gadget charges to slow down. Yoshi here has the direct lane assignment against the Daryl, but doesn't have a hedge developed yet.
Joker has the hypercharge now. He's going to opt to run for it as well, but the shots are not really landing. He's pushing his way forward, Zeus being the ideal target to double down on, but then RBM gets the roll and buys the pick up onto Yoshi. Low HP on that top left-hand side, now under a bit of scrutiny. Rolling away, I think there is the wise call.
RBM's able to get out at least. Zeus slowed up there. Joker marked briefly. Zeus also pops the gadget to get some extra damage. Elevate here looking like they can even the set up though. Player advantage, Luffy able to dive in. They're going to wait a little bit. Elevate as the gas encroaches and will force SK out to the open ears. Luffy, the Mo's machine finds its mark and Lanar falls soon after.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. If RBM and Luffy get those timings correctly, it really is quite straightforward. SK got to go much more on the aggressive sooner as well now. And it's going to be a tough one as we're getting a bit more back and forth. That kind of early confidence now as they realize that they've got quite an even matchup on their hands.
All right, here we go. Decide a game now. Straight down the mid we go. Look at the lane assignments. We've actually seen a swap here. RBM in mid against Joker. Really can't do too much about the Rico. Has to respect that damage. Joker, obviously being able to fire around corners, has a massive advantage there. Luffy also living dangerously now. RBM trying to relieve the pressure a little bit on towards the Mo. Here's the dive. Yoshi's in trouble. He can't get out with a hedge
Sprout
either.
is gone.
And SK lose that player cheaply. Joker also low, but snipes Zeus around the corner. We have a 2v2.
Joker now forced to heal as well, as he's in a good spot. If RBM does not have super, that's the key realistically here.
Danger!
Oh no! Bit of an overextension there from Joker. It's going to leave Lanan really in a tough spot. Not much is going to be able to realistically do here. Keep the mark, of course, for the next round, but I mean, realistically, this is going to be a timing issue now between Luffy and RBM just to seal this round.
Lanar can't spend the nest eggs. He needs to keep them for the next couple of rounds, potentially. So here comes RBM, able to dodge away from the trap now, and in a straight head-to-head, brings the bell down without too much trouble.
Okay, now, well, a very important round, one that must be SK's here, or Elevate will take this set. RBM has the hypercharge, which of course he cannot use, as the Daryl is one of those brawlers which cannot do so.
Yes.
That will be a forfeit of this game, so they'll be very, very cautious of not utilizing that hypercharge.
That's right. A few of those hyperchargers did make their way into dead boxes. They are available in friendlies, so not legal though for Worlds. Joker here just making a switch to the right now. He's doing well, putting pressure down on Zeus previously, but Luffy has a super. In fact, all the big supers for Elevate are available. None up for SK Gaming. So right now, they are vulnerable.
Yeah, good nest X on that top right-hand side.
Give him somewhere to fall back to.
Exactly, they're going to have that as the gas comes in. We've got a safe spot. Zeus just doing a good job of juking on that left-hand side. The wall goes down from Yoshi.
Okay.
As he can sense the time is
Here
right
they come.
for a push from Elevate, and RBM just misfires a little bit.
That's huge. Luffy going to go in, though. Can he find more than one? No, he's out of the machine, and in the gas, he's taken down. It's going to be up to Zeus now. He may not want to feed super here. Got to go for it. Drops the legs, but has nowhere to go through the wall. Brings Leonard down, but the gas claims him. Joker gets SK to a decider game.
This round will take the set for whoever it may be. RBM again, just keeping himself back, trying to avoid these shots from Joker. As Joker going very much more on the aggressive as Yoshi comes forwards now a little bit as well. Hypercharge available for Lenan, but no super to be able to connect with just yet. If he can get that mark and earn it, a prime candidate would be RBM.
Hey, he may even take the raw stats in a pinch if he needs them. This has come up at the right time for SK, but Elevate do have all of their supers up. They know they have a contingency for the late round in Zeus, being able to really do a lot of damage after dropping those legs. Luffy looking for a dive target, surely. Joker really respects this. Look at how he gives that ground to the Mo.
They've got to protect Joker here. Luffy now low HP, and that's great for SK Gaming. If Luffy goes in, honestly, Joker is going to be bang in trouble.
It buys
now,
time.
RBM lurking as well, has that super to hand. Yoshi has the wall, and we know how great he can place it. He's going to go with it early, though.
Zeus is marked. RBM trying to come in from the left-hand side with the tar barrel, but they're going to hold him at bay for now. The gas, though, coming in. SK caught in the corner. Here comes the Mo. Luffy taken down by Joker, but now it's Lenar, and it's not enough. Zeus able to outlast and Elevate get the first set on the board.
GG's, क्या match था man.
Just a couple of HP there for RBM as the sole survivor, and that's enough. I mean, what a turnaround for Elevate, who were slow off the mark. Really, to get that comp kind of working, it did look like, to me, the better of the two going into the match. But then SK displayed so beautifully well how they were able to keep that going under pressure. And just a bit of chaos was all it was needed, and now Elevate might have a bit of momentum in what is only a best of three to get the job done.
And this is what Elevate brought to NA, and now are bringing outside of those borders. Powerful tank play with RBM at the fore. We see how this goes down, right? Multiple dives. Yoshi overextended there, perhaps, but there were situations in which he was ostensibly in a safe location and still got dove on. Elevate can do so much to close the gap here, and SK can only do so much to keep them at arm's length.
Oh, that was not the starting hand that I was expecting to see, honestly. I thought that SK might have that first set regardless, just simply because they were holding their own. But these moments here, there's a bit of a misroll there from RBM, no doubt about it. And just this moment here, just kind of chaos, really. But SK was still able to remain control of things. This is the final moment. This is really what might be looked back upon by SK Gaming as the moment where it came crumbling down. Look at that, just 815 HP left.
Joker takes one tick of damage to the gas, and that is enough to do him in. If he survives that, SK still have a 3 versus 2, even with the dive coming in from Elevate. Pretty crazy stuff. Joker constantly harassing, constantly keeping RBM low on health. That's why, of course, he boasts such high DPS over the course of that round. But this is what we've seen in NA all year, and it's going to take some masterful drafting to play around some of these powerful tank picks, of which there are many. Do you want to dedicate a ban to some of these dive brawlers? Do you want to let Mo through like that again? I have to wonder if you might need to make a bit of an adjustment here to a team like Elevate.
I mean, you know, I wasn't a big fan of the Rico pick as that kind of really solidified, tankier counter, to be honest. But to be fair to Joker, his DPS was the highest of all 6 players. So you've got to hand it to him there, but it was one of those brawlers that's not able to really kind of carry in those final moments, and Elevate knew that. Going into Brawl now as well, this is another great map for tank picks, and we've already seen, like, they are the specialty of RBM. So I think SK Gaming are going to have to tread very, very cautiously here. Certainly be banning out the Mo, which they are now doing. The Clancy as well as the Surge, the Max, the Kenji, and the Nita banned by Elevate. Loving those bans, all very much necessary. And a Gale first pick for Elevate.
So powerful. Not only, of course, is this kit just fundamentally very, very good, especially if your opponents are trying to play tanks against you, but you have the Twister, you have a Hypercharge as well that is pretty devastating if you're able to bring that to bear. This is definitely going to dictate SK Gaming's draft. Seeing a Gale picked against them now, they have to think about whether Gap Close is really going to be a great option for them.
With the bans as well, I mean, you really do want to snap up the Gale as a fantastic tank counter. It doesn't really leave too much for SK Gaming as they already banned the Surge out for themselves. Rico, first pick yet again, and it was played fantastically well. Otis coming in now a little bit is an interesting pick. I mean, I've seen it played primarily into countering a Kenji, which is banned, so I'm not really too fond of it, to be completely honest. I think maybe if you wanted to have Shelly break the map open. I mean, if they're expecting tanks, which feels like it might be rife for Elevate, they're blocking in the Gale, it would make sense to kind of follow up with something tanky. I mean, SK going with the Otis, I don't mind it. I think it's kind of slipped on a little bit, but hey.
Just want to be clear as well, it is a brawler with a new hypercharge. It's not legal to be used here at Worlds, that one quite yet, so you will see the ring orbiting Otis as if he has super, hyper rather, but won't be able to use it. Okay, so Buster here. Elevate do go with a pretty strong tanky core here. One that is definitely prone to win fights pretty effectively up close. I mean, instant replay, very powerful, right? Being able to draw someone in, hook them in like a mini gene pull, but also just that montage in terms of being able to gain control of the map by bullying your opponents out of it, especially against like longer range brawlers. It's going to be pretty potent.
Stu is the final pick there for Elevate. They obviously want to keep the bush and have a bit of uncertainty there, and obviously Joker, if he's running Vision Gear, can get some value, but I kind of wonder now with the Buster now showing its face, what the SK might want to break. That's kind of, might be leading, maybe not. I mean, ultimately, it would deflate somewhat of what that Rico pick is designed to kind of achieve here. Deliberating a little bit here, but the aggressiveness remains. Jackie is the idea of SK, and certainly a map that I think is really catered for it, and, you know, being able to really just rush in with a hypercharge and just really kind of draw in all of your opposition into a harmful situation to then have a bit of synergy with the Rico to really just capitalize on all of that damage. I like it.
You are also exploiting the fact that Elevate have not drafted any throwers at all here on Brawl Ball. Sometimes you see one or so get mixed in here. Naturally, Gale will be able to keep Jackie back to a degree. But Jackie has her ways of getting up on you. And again, playing by the walls, both Jackie and Rico care very much about the terrain here on this map. And RBM probably going to be aware of that. May opt to try and break it open a little bit with that gadget or just go for a speed zone, something a bit more general here. And of course, Jackie is completely unperturbed by Buster. He does nothing to shut her down, really. Obviously, his montage can't stop her form of damage from connecting.
This is the same concern that I have too, is like if the Jackie is going to be running into the Gale every single time, there's going to be nothing they can do about it. And for Elevate, they're going to have to be really staying on top of that particular matchup. You know, that really is going to be how they can shut this idea down. So if it's going to be Joker and Yoshi on those two brawlers, the Rico and the Otis, that's where their attention needs to be. Get rid of the Gale and then allow a Jackie to do its thing. And that's again what Joker said coming in his interview. Lenan probably going to be on that more tankier, more aggressive brawler. They've got to provide that support to allow him to pop off because there's no one finer at doing so. I want to see Lenan go crazy in this game.
This is honestly a matchup with these two teams of tank player warlords, right? RBM versus Lenan, two players in their respective regions known as like the preeminent tank players. And SK, their whole philosophy is built around setting Lenan up for success regardless of what brawler that he's on. I think that, like, you know, also worth pointing out, Stu also has a hypercharge that is not legally to be used here. So that's another brawler.
And if it's used, we'll see it.
We'll definitely know about it, folks. That's right. So with the first set going over to Elevate, it's time for SK to make their retort. We're on to Brawl Ball.
Already some good lane damage. Joker then getting some good taps on the RBM, but Lenan is lurking, finding his way forwards as well. Trying to find the pass through. Joker now too weak to really help him out. We're going to rethink things through as Zeus there on the right-hand side. A lovely wall break as well. And the bush there is burnt down. Going to be quite a key crossover there if the game continues on that right-hand side lane.
And not much Rico can do against that montage. Luffy really has the advantage when walking up on that Rico. And, of course, that Otis. Lenan here does, of course, have that counter crutch active, so will return some of the damage that he is dealt. But how do you stop this? Nice mute button being used there, and a great defense from Joker, stopping RBM in his tracks.
Perfectly timed mute there, really. That was the difference maker. And now Joker pushing the ball back forwards. Has got the hypercharge too, and he's going to be able to use it there.
Oi.
Chaos now as the trickling down the DPS there and Elevate, and a nice move from Lenan, but the ball there from Yoshi. Zeus should be too low here to be able to contest against it, and it's going to trickle over the line. SK Gaming get a goal on the board.
That fat splatter from Yoshi was huge. Nothing that Elevate could do to step forward. They were trapped inside their own goal. Zeus could not defend against that Otis gadget. Now Elevate want to come up again, but you've seen what this SK comp can do.
Joker getting some nice angles down to RBM and fires him super, but there, love it with the slow-mo ripping it at just the right time, cancels it out. Lenan's got to get this ball to safety realistically here. He might trickle down, he does. And now Elevate just going to reset themselves in this mid. They've got a better high ground position now. Just going in there with the montage to really keep the pressure on.
Good mute.
Might trickle down himself now to that mute as well. Joker though, all done by the blustery blow. And now Lenan knows to keep that ball in that pocket.
Yeah, that's a classic SK Gaming strategy, folks. Corner the ball. Once you have that lead, Lenan here, pressured down somewhat by Zeus. Luffy, of course, will outrange the Jackie. And then they come again, 3 versus 2. Joker with the super available now. That gets pretty dangerous as you get up closer. He's going to pop it, the hyper as well. A lot of shots around the map, but Luffy's able to avoid most of them. Lenan here just getting battered as he tries to step up, but he has a hypercharge available as well that will allow him to slow people down within the radius of that super. Oh! Brought to heal though. Luffy going to go down to Joker, but Zeus could be dangerous, and Yoshi with the moves. What a clutch! That is disgusting! You cannot shoot the ball when you are muted at SK Gaming. Take the first round of Brawl Ball away.
And with that, the arena is back on their feet. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful Otis play. Not just once, but twice. The difference maker to keep SK out in front. They've got to keep that pressure on. They've got to bring back a set. And that is exactly how you bring back some team morale to the table. Let's see now as we go in how SK going to fare on this one. Lenan just trying to find a little bit of maneuvering ability here. Gets the ball to actually not allow the shot to come through. And now Joker just keeping the pressure onto RBM on the left-hand side. This should be a chance now to bring the ball forwards.
Lenan would have loved to have caught Zeus there. Yoshi looking dangerous. Zeus got brought down there by Joker. Player advantage now for SK Gaming. Lenan looking dangerous. Joker with the super. That's a bit too easy, that one. A little too easy for SK. That's that Jackie really starting to take over the game. Pneumatic booster now, Lenan speeding up. What a devastating push from the Jackie. An elevator wipe from the map. Joker can just walk in.
Oh, no! What a fumble! You can't do that on the world stage. It was such a free goal. And a big missed opportunity for SK Gaming now as some of the nerves starting to take hold.
They still have a lead in this game and 90 seconds left to play. But make no mistake, that was diabolical there from Joker. Although he's eager to make amends by the looks of things. Multi-ball launcher there, catches RBM. Zeus, though, able to recover from that mute and get back out into the field. Oh, man.
A chance to mentally reset here.
Just one of the last plays you expect to see that from.
SK just definitely flustered, aren't they? Didn't expect to relatively drop that first set either. Now, creates some space, hypercharge there for Lenan on top of this speed. He might be able to go all the way here. Nothing Zeus can do! And Lenan will seal it!
If you want something done right, sometimes you just gotta do it yourself. That is filthy stuff. Hypercharge Jackie straight up the middle. Bowl over anybody who gets in your way. The Swiss sensation gives SK their first set.
And that is SK Gaming for you, right? You know, not everyone is always going to have the best of sets. And it's so important that when that happens, you come together as a team and you pick up the slack. And it's very rare to see that from Joker. And everyone on the side of SK won't be worried about it because come the next set, they will have wiped the slate clean and just come back fully refreshed.
You definitely can't be dwelling on something like that.
You can't.
I've got to say, though, we kind of undersold the Otis pick at the start of this game. You know, the mute obviously just making it impossible for you to dispose of the ball at all. Okay,
oh, that's going to haunt him.
That's a doozy, folks. But is his heel now? Look at this. Dribble off the wall. Able to push up. Man, he made it look easy. Great finish there for Lenan and SK Gaming. Get their set on the board. Joker with a whopping 492 DPS. Talk about facilitating. That guy, outside of the small, flustered moment, looked fantastic out there.
That's the screenshot that I'd be taking.
Oh, yeah.
If anyone in the years to come brings that up, I'm just going to literally just be like, well, hey, 10 takedowns and that DPS,
So if,
not
if
too
it gets
shabby.
into any banter with Firecrow on X, like someone I know, you can always throw that one out there to cover yourself. We've got ourselves a game, folks, here. Number 1, NA seed Elevate, and SK Gaming number 3 from EMEA. Leaving it all out there for us already. Couldn't have asked for a better way to kick off Superfest and the Brawl Stars World Finals. It's bounty time, though, for our decider set, folks. Shooting Star is the battlefield.
This is where we'll find out who in this group will have the earliest of advantages. And Shooting Star certainly is a map where that RT pick could have a little bit of a factor. Angelo as well with that little bit of mid-lake. Angelo
Being
being
able to
banned
cross
and
water
RT banned.
is very, very powerful here. It allows you to undertake gameplay patterns that you wouldn't normally have at your fingertips. So RT Nani, common ban out on Bounty. Max also taken away from Elevate. 2 sharpshooters plus Byron removed here by Elevate. Can Byron combine with any other tank, but also his ability to turn a fight on his head is pretty scary. It's going to be Piper here for SK Gaming.
I'm really loving the bans we've seen so far today, really agreeing with each and every one of them, and having 6 unique brawlers banned as well, so it'll make for some really entertaining draft too. And a Piper first pick, I mean, you know me, but that's my kind of go-to, especially on a map like this. But certainly, it's going to leave itself open to some controlling factors, also some potential throwers in the mixes. Not a single one banned. Gus, I love the way that Gus has kind of shone back into the meta now as well, and certainly the knockback with the shield, definitely a bit of a factor when combined with aggressive brawlers. Not going to be the flavor just yet of Elevate, going with the Gene, and of course, Magic Hand can turn that balance, but I wonder if a third and final pick might be looming here with that Gus first pick.
I mean, it definitely will be, but I'm thinking something of a tank nature potentially,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Or an assassin, someone who can really benefit from that Gus super, giving you that huge amount of shield, making you virtually unkillable.
Kenji's open, Mo's open, those are
Ay,
huge
ay.
brawlers here.
Ay, Dios mío, that is terrifying.
Yeah.
SK Gaming, though, have only really shown their hand in terms of maybe wanting to put a sharpshooter on Lenar's hands. Tick here, very, very powerful on Bounty. Can really cover this map. Also, a hypercharge that is pretty hard to avoid. We'll see what the last pick here for SK Gaming to round out their composition. Pearl here. Brawler who really benefits from a slower game, able to build up that heat. Also, when push comes to shove and, you know, you get Dove, that super is really, really strong. The Kenji to round out this composition. You called it Arc, we both felt like it would be an assassin to round things out here. Not only does Kenji have a star power that lets him shrug off the first hit he takes, a gadget that lets him heal an amount of damage he's taken recently, but he also heals whenever he does damage to an opposing brawler. It's pretty good.
The ability to stay off the map and just remain completely invulnerable to everything as well is ridiculous. We knew it was going to be something along those lines for Elevate. I mean, SK Gaming's answer for it was Pearl. They seem quite confident with that being the ability to sit behind.
Sure.
But, I mean, the Kench into the tick into the Piper. I mean, I am very concerned for SK Gaming. So much pressure is going to be on Lenun to be able to hold his own here.
Luffy, though, goes down early. The long-range game, though, for Elevate doesn't look nearly as good. They do have to get this Kenji within striking distance, which is easier said than done. Joker has a super that lets him avoid. Obviously, Pearl has a super that really makes you look silly for trying to dive her at all. And Tick has last hurrah, at least for that survivability. In comes Luffy, though, does land the slash. That's the gadget use. Luffy going to heal back up now. Poppin opens up the map a little bit more, but the pressure is starting to mount. In comes Luffy. Yoshi drops the Tick head. Last hurrah used there. Luffy tanks it because his star power's busted. And now SK Gaming have a 3-star lead.
I'm surprised, in all honesty, that SK are holding on as well as they have. It might not last. Luffy going in with a little slice there as well. Low HP now, and there's a hypercharge from Yoshi that will connect and land on the map, forcing then that little bit of area control in the mid. Hypercharge as well available for Joker here, and that needs to land as RBM might try and get that magic hand to connect. He can jump away, he can evade it, but Yoshi can't say the same on that tick.
You've got to knock that shield off Luffy when he gets close. He has 12,000 HP with the Gus shield, plus the mitigation of that shield could be even more. 15k effective HP potentially. Luffy's getting closer. He knows he's got to go for it. 30 seconds left in the round here. Lenar has that shield from the heat, and Joker now has nowhere to go. It's going to have to be a popper. Who's going to save the Piper? Joker's in trouble now, and Luffy brings him down. Elevator's still behind by 2 stars, and Lenar is healthy. SK still have that lead.
Elevate now got the blue star and the magic hand available for RBM, but he's going to be together. And there, Luffy is low HP. He'll go down as soon as he lands. 9 stars for SK. There's the magic hand. Zeus or nothing. He buys some stars. The blue star is still with SK and will remain until the final seconds. It's match point for SK Gaming.
And
Fuck,
just a
what was
little
that
thing,
match,
but Yoshi throws
baby?
some mines
Yeah,
down at the location that Kenji
sorry.
left when he went for his super, knowing that
Sorry,
Luffy
I
would
was
return to that
speechless.
spot and
वो
go
moment
down. He was
में
very
समझ
low as he
में
went
नहीं
for the
था
super.
क्या
As soon as he
बोले
appeared
क्या
again, he was
कहे।
blown up. Oh man, it is a game of inches here, Ark.
So much pressure. You can genuinely feel it in the arena as it goes deadly quiet all of a sudden.
Luffy low.
Very low indeed.
But
Level
got no
finally.
healing from it.
4 stars for him already. We've barely started.
Is the head first. Zeus in a bit of trouble now. Oh, the Piper is looming, and Joker's able to take an easy elimination on the Gus. Now you've got to make something happen here. But Luffy doesn't have a Gus super to play with. Has some gadget charges, I suppose. It's dicey. But Elevate need to get slicey.
Let's see now, looking on the left-hand side, rather just looking to push his way forwards. But again, Lanar's been so consistent. As shutting it down, upon the gadget will keep Luffy in the mix. And the magic hand connects, and he comes in, but he's got to get out. Perfect timing, and Elevate survival, but they are still behind.
And the magic puffs, though, kept Luffy standing. He did well to return to the side of his gene. But Elevate need another super here to set up that kind of kill. They don't have it. It is relatively easy for Gene to build super with his poke damage, but it takes a long time. Time Elevate may not have with 47 seconds on the clock.
They're looking to go on the aggressive again. They can time this right now that RBM has got that super to hand. It'll be the perfect time to bring things balanced and even with 35 seconds on the clock. It's going to be tight. Hypercharge is available to everyone there on the side of SK Gaming.
Here it is.
Yoshi gets pulled in. No time for a response as well. Zeus is low, but far enough away from harm. And it's now going to be 25 seconds for SK to bring back their lead. They lost it.
Elevate just have to stay alive now. 1 star lead, and it's the blue star difference. Joker's looking for a shot, but has to be careful. Getting too close would be his demise. In comes Lanar. Hypercharge available. They get Luffy. That's enough, but Lanar gets caught out by the magic hand. He has the super, though. He's able to take a 1-for-1 trade, and that keeps SK Gaming in the lead. And they will take his first match. Oh, baby. That one was close.
Nice. SK.
What a victory for SK Gaming, because Elevate started to put the pressure on. They really did. Great draft. So much fate was placed in that Pearl pick, and it had to suffice enough to stay on top in this group. Crawl,
Jeez, let's
Elevate
go.
really did bring a fantastic game, and it deserved to be that close.
Love that call from Elevate. Really requires you, though, to take some risks, to be
Bomb का खतरनाक
hyper-aggressive.
कूद रहे हैं.
Look at these mines thrown down there just briefly by Yoshi. Magic Hand was able to catch Lanar out. This is that first round here where Zeus is still searching for that final elimination. He needed 2. Perhaps if he goes for a target with 3 stars on them, then they can flip things there. Lanar, though, I mean, even though he got hooked in by Gene, he had super up. He says, I don't think you want to do this. Hits that super, takes the Gene down, and secures a 1-for-1 trade, which is exactly what SK needed to stay ahead in the game. This was that final fight. Nice hook onto the tick here. You can see them trying to back away. Elevator ahead at this point. This is where it all falls apart for them.
But now went crazy. I mean, you don't really want to be pulling him in
no.
for starters, but nonetheless, I mean, you've got to get those goods and give your team something to run back with. There you can see again, 7 takedowns for Lanan. He was playing fantastically well so far today. I really hope that continues forwards. Just keeping things, really evenly matched for SK to be able to get the job done, and it's not really necessarily the role that he would always tend to play. So I've got to give that man a great deal of respect and a great amount of DPS along with it.
Yeah, look, a great responsibility on the shoulders of Lanar here. Luffy, yeah, 50, again, but you are only dealing damage within these smaller windows as Kenji. You need to get a good engagement. And if you get poked down too much before you can access the enemy team, it's going to be tough. Lanar here, MVP, pretty well deserved. Again, is the player who is set up to step into the spotlight for this SK team. Requires a whole lot of resources and infrastructure around him. Joker with top DPS over every single set in that series for SK Gaming, quietly getting the job done, making sure that Lanar could be the star that he needed to.
For Elevate as well, they got the set, and that could be a differential later on down the line. So if you have any kind of 3-way ties, you've got to consider those things as well. So I think a very commendable performance from them, certainly when you consider just how many of the squad have got their first World Finals here. Only RBM with the 2 World Finals appearances, including this one. So, I mean, I was expecting them to maybe not be able to be as confident against a team like SK, and they proved a lot of people wrong so far.
This now means that Elevate have to at least beat Foot Esports to get out of this group, which is by no means a sure thing. They look incredible, but having a look over the groups in general, we've seen Pioneers take Space Station to task already in that first match of Group B. That, of course, is the number 2 seed from NA. They look very, very good. Already, though, we're starting to see now the cream rise to the top. SK Gaming might have been number 3 seed from EMEA, but that region is deep. Quality teams, all of their representatives here have the potential to take their groups entirely. So it's something you've got to look out for. Great showing. I'm really impressed with what we've seen so far from our teams. SK Gaming, the magic is back. It always seems to be here.
They looked a little bit more nervous than usual, I'll be honest, on a couple of occasions. But again, as we said, going into that third set, this is where a team like SK can really thrive because they have that.
Completely pinched, and Shu takes him down with a Vengeful Spirits. Now a man disadvantage for Humble in what most would consider a lost round. They do have a chance to farm up some super here. Near miss for Milkrio, and Luki remains alive.
Let's see if Luki gets greedy once again. An early man disadvantage. That's something that is so valuable in Knockout, where kills are everything. Another Walking Cane. Melty doing much better in the second one. Has a teleport available through the wall. Luki connects. All of a sudden, a 3v1 situation. The sharpshooter cannot handle all this action. Rival Esports finally on the board.
On the board, and got some momentum on their side with the wind at their backs. No connection there with the Bell Gadget. It's just early damage. Humble gradually trying to find their comfort zone over here. With a crucial wall for Semantic broken open by Melty's Gadget. Another super out of Luki, but no contact. Milkrio shrugs it off.
Without a tag there, it's going to be harder and harder for Luki to cycle that super. That's somewhere where Mandy thrives, and on the other end, Gene Pool across the entire map. Rival Esports putting on a clinic here in Game 2.
Terrible situation here for Humble. The best they can really get is a super here from Luki, but Boss is pinched on the left side. No contact from Milkrio, but the teleport in from Melty. Pinch from Milkrio on the left. Boss, the last remaining member, no HP, and a game win for Rival.
Woo, it was looking so convincing in Game 1. How the turntables, friends. Interesting stuff. APAC all of a sudden looking alive and well. There's that Milkrio smile too. Right-hand side. Looks like every single one of them pretty darn dialed in. You gotta think Humble really want to win this one. They are fighting a lot of demons from past lands.
You called it, Kenny, though. We saw the mechanics take a step up for Rival Esports over here. They know that they're going to have to mechanics diff this one. We also see the lane switch up. Luki's going to be going over to this Gene lane versus Shu on the right side. Milkrio back on Bell on the left. Semantic still doing the same old thing. Ideally, he doesn't get pulled by Melty with one of those gadgets and lose access to his walls like he did in the last game.
Kind of funny how every single one of the supers on Rival side matter. A missed Gust Bubble, a missed Walking Cane. Shu, of course, with a super available with that Gene Pool, can change up entire games. All the utility matters so much. In that second game, they really started to click. The first one, they missed everything, it felt like. But of course, switching that up in Game 2 definitely changed things up. But he does it once again. Luki, low HP, a desperation wall to protect himself. Great defense out of Semantic.
Incredible teamwork from Semantic to keep Luki alive, but you cannot persist. A second Vengeful Spirits out of Shu. Man advantage once again for Rival Esports. Shu's gonna try and hang on to this super if he can, but Semantic does now have this hypercharge that's crucial for the next round, because that's exactly where we're headed. Rival Esports just one round off of taking a set.
Oh boy. Hypercharge available. Luki, I think, going to be handling this pretty seriously. He knows how conservative he needs to be. And gotta get a lined up super shot. He's flashing that super, goes for it, and another miss again. This is a consistent problem now for Humble.
Luki's got to be hitting himself right now. He can get this super quickly, but it's not going to be given to him so easily by Gene. In fact, he's all the way backed up. On the right side, Shu's just waiting with this pull, especially for Semantic to get greedy. Long pull out from Melty! A double pull, and Shu takes him down.
Rival goes for two, swoops in for another. Shu looking for what's one more. Boss gets the kill, but Melty survives. Rival Esports takes set number 1.
What a start. What a tone setter from Rival. A team that no one up here on the desk expected to take the win here. There's still time for Humble to come back. But Rival Esports made a comeback of their own here in set number 1. We saw game 1 go to Humble. Rival Esports, they fire back. Look at the mechanics. Melty so reliable with these pulls. The double pull action. Oh, so well choreographed.
Just disgusting. Look at how many pulls they nailed. Opening game did not go their way. But games 2 and 3, that's the kind of team that can mess with anybody. Love seeing the confidence out of them too. If you're the side of Humble, you're down 1-0. Obviously in a best of 3, the other team's now a match set. If you're somebody on the other end like Semantic though, it's been a talking point for him. He said it to me, I've only beat one team at Worlds and it was mainland China. I gotta prove myself this week. And that's not the way to do it. Semantic, of course, with 3 here, but on the other side, 4 apiece for this Rival Esports squad. Everybody putting in work.
And it's good teamwork. We saw some good stuff out of Humble as well. When we talk about what Humble is up to here, we saw Semantic leading the charge there in game number 1. Didn't quite go that way in the next ones because we started to see Melty.
And Meow as well, of course, a very accomplished player in this squad. It's kind of interesting to see the favorite brawler being Frank. Don't really necessarily pin that specific brawler to him, but nonetheless, let's see if it makes an appearance. It is kind of a meta which could call for it, but certainly a great amount of pressure on this very team to keep that crown on their heads.
Apparently world champions don't eat food. He doesn't even know what food he likes. Question mark on the food. He doesn't even know himself, never mind us here on the desk. But yeah, what an absolutely incredible team Zeta Division have been all year long and in previous years as well. But let's talk a little bit about their opponents. Crazy Raccoon. And we're about to find out what happens when you pin world champions against world champions, Tensai, Tampo, and Moya. And yet again, they don't need much introduction themselves.
This is the number 1 seed coming out of the APAC region. Of course, Tensai being the only player in this World Finals to be a 2-time world champion. Amazing stuff. Of course, no doubt about his favorite brawler being Max. I mean, he is really linked specifically to Max and has been over the years. So, again, I'm looking forward to seeing whether that brawler might make an appearance for him. But this is going to be, honestly, such a tough matchup. This is the group of death, in my opinion, and going back to the 2023 World Finals, it was Zeta Division that knocked out Crazy Raccoon in that semi-final stage to a 3-2 scoreline, just the narrowest of narrow margins, Traven, a pinnacle moment in Brawl Esports history, let alone just in that World Finals.
You say your group of death. And honestly, that is exactly what it is. All 5 of us are going to go for Crazy Raccoon. And I was pretty comfortable. I was pretty happy with my decision. I'm sure the rest of us were as well. But the public are going to go for Zeta Division.
Hey, do you know what? I don't mind it. Who are we to tell the public not to vote for the world champions? I mean, hey, it's going to be a very much a 50-50 matchup for me. I just feel like Crazy Raccoon have been a team which have been developing a bit over the years towards draft, which in my opinion was kind of like their more weaker area. Technically, I think that they are technically the best team in the world. I think their thumbs just move diff. I think that many would say the same, but I think for me, the weakest area has been their draft, and that's an area where Zeta Division, they've been cooking. I was chatting last night to Latox, and there's some serious math, some serious algorithms going on behind the scenes. I'm not going to divulge too much into their secret strats, but it was very fascinating to hear how they are approaching the drafts, and they think they cracked it.
And this is the thing as well, Zeta Division, they've been so back and forward for the past 2 years. They'll win a monthly final, or they'll go out in the first round, and that's the story for the Polish boys. The thing is, they show up on the world stage no matter what, and I think that's the exact same thing about Crazy Raccoon. Coming in as number 1 from APAC, they started strong, they ended the year strong, and now they're here to show the exact same at World Finals.
And you'll remember the amount of experience as well on the side of Crazy Raccoon. For Tensai's 5th World Finals, for Tampo it's 4, for Moya it's 3rd. I mean, actually kind of surprising when you look back at Moya's career. He's always just come that little bit short, being, back in 2022 on, Zeta Division 1, not the team that won the whole thing, becoming 2nd place. It's got to feel a little bit rough, but every year making some moves towards greatness, and this could be his year.
Yeah, genuinely. I mean, the thing is, with predictions especially, the fact that we can predict a team over the world champions of last year is just crazy, and that just goes to show how much of an incredible matchup this is. The magnitude that we're starting the Brawl Stars World Finals 2024 off with, a double match point game for the first, and then we're pitting world champions against world champions for the second.
And this is a grudge match that's gone back through the test of time as well, back to 2022. Back then it was Gero and Naui on the Chazmak Gaming EU roster that faced Moya and Tampo in that World Finals, losing to a 1-3 scoreline. So some of the crossovers still remain to this day, and certainly, I mean, there are going to be so many eyes to see how APAC as a region is faring against EMEA, especially as we watch today the closeness between North America and EMEA. I want to see whether APAC are kind of back on top, as it's been a bit of a while really since that time has been. Zeta Division, of course, last year lifting that trophy and really turning some heads as a team which are very much kind of keeping themselves to themselves and just playing things out through their thumbs and making their experience count in the games.
Milkrio get his super. It means he has some defense against Rico, which is one of the big reasons that we see that Buster picked. What a super from Semantic to get the kill. They're about to take down Milkrio as well and get another shot at the goal.
Maybe Humble are just built for game ones. Melty still on this tier 1 stage. Lukey with an easy shot here, and Humble will take a 1-0 lead here in set number 2.
Positively trouncing Rival Esports over here. Definitely a good beginning over here, but no amount of comfort for Humble over here, as they're just one set away from being taken down, losing a group stage match against Rival, a team that is certainly the underdog in the stare down.
If you're Humble, this would be a devastating loss. They are up 1-0 here in set number 2. Lukey from the long range, Semantic cutting him off here. Milkrio with a pull, a nice tag as well. Semantic looking for the slowdown, and Melty once again rendered useless.
Better lane matchups this time for Rival Esports. We'll see Milkrio on the left side pick up a kill, and Milkrio has that super to keep Boss back. It affords some time for Melty to push up. He has this level 1 still, but he should be progressing closer and closer to a level 2, especially if he can get Lukey by surprise on the right. Every member of Humble forced into their own goal. Desperate supers and attacks come out. Shu with 1 kill. Every member falls, and that's goal number 1 for Rival.
Massive adjustment there from Rival, something we've also consistently seen. They're a good game 2 squad. They're going to be resetting here in the mid. Melty can't move left. Milkrio forced away. This time Humble are looking to take charge.
Melty trapped in mid, but could this be a trap for Humble as they look to push forward? Not quite. Boss out with a super to eliminate Milkrio. And Shu tries to push up on the left side. Excellent gadget on the right to keep Lukey from getting even more forward and potentially getting a goal. But this mid control belongs to Humble.
Still lead for Humble here in the sets, but a big time bounce. Lukey looking to prove himself here in this second set. Unbelievable performance after he was slow to start.
What an insane team kill just from Lukey. That is why Rico is banned here. But Milkrio's now got the kryptonite for any Rico. Use that super pretty quickly. Boss with a takedown on the left eliminates Melty. But Milkrio still remains strong on the right side, just trying to keep these guys back. Eventually falls. In mid certainly belongs to Humble.
Lukey once again releasing another super. This time, no real connection. Boss is more than enough to make up for it, though. A beautiful tag. Milkrio forced away into his spawn, and the big tank left to just play goalkeeper. But Semantic there, he can't move a muscle. It's still Humble in prime positioning.
Hypercharge out from Semantic. That's 1, 2. Milkrio, the final domino, and the chain falls. And Humble go to set 3.
We've got a match on our hands. This is one that I didn't necessarily expect personally. I thought this was going to be a 2-0. No bad teams at World Finals, but I just felt like Humble were legitimate. I'm glad that they were able to shake this one off.
They bring in the Pearl, it's got the range. Once you kind of build up that heat and get the extra damage down, it can deal with tanks. You can kind of pepper down opponents at range, especially with that gadget. You're going to be able to get some kills that nobody was really expect either. Pair that with the shield, get her close, and that's going to be a lot of damage raining down. But we'll see what Crazy Raccoon do take for their last pick, and it's going to be Brock. And I mean, that surprises me quite a bit.
It's definitely the kind of brawler which is not too flashy, let's be honest. And I've always said it's a bit more of a kind of safe pair of hands, but the wall break I think is going to be quite available to then Crazy Raccoon to really open up the map, allow that Sprout to have less maneuvering ability to connect those walls around, and I think that's the kind of play. They want to kind of open things up as much as possible, as that Sprout can just get so much control over the map if they're not careful. I don't mind it. Who are you kind of siding with from comp?
I think I'd say Zeta Division. It's kind of something we've questioned all year long, is Crazy Raccoon's composition, or drafting skills, I should say. So we'll see if they're actually going to be able to make it up on the world stage and do a bit of a better job. But Zeta, with the early positioning control.
Well, Moya needs to try to get a bit more splash early on. He needs that magic hand, something towards the end of the rounds to be able to really connect with his teammates on. So far, Zeta in a pretty decent spot despite that wall break and that bottom left-hand side, giving more space for CR to maneuver. It's this bottom right now that makes me cautious as Meow's maneuvering with Geru and just putting CR into a bit of a corner, and this is getting risky now.
Yeah, you got to be cautious with this gene pool as well, but Meow's managed to get himself a wall, and that's going to be a big help in this late game when we start to see it close down and the walls have been broken in mid by Tensai. He does take a few shots to the face on the left-hand side though, but thanks to those magic buffs, he gets the heals up, blocks Shitampo out, and that means he's going to have to go into the gas. We see Moya get taken down. Tensai's going to follow, and Shitampo will be there shortly after. 3-0 for Zeta Division, and what a start for them.
Really clean, really methodical, despite some great taps from Shitampo there as well, and the Hacks Gadget combo just was not enough. Great start for Zeta Division now, but Moya has got the magic hand, and Shitampo has got leg form also. Tensai with the Rocket Rain, and now it's starting to be Crazy Raccoon that are getting a bit more of that mid control, forcing back Zeta Division. Hypercharge now available for Meow too, but there's the hand from Moya, and a swift takedown, making it a 3 versus 2 now.
It's the exact answer we needed from Crazy Raccoon, and they do just that. Shitampo has the legs as well. If it gets to late game, he's going to be a big, big help in these closing seconds. Pearl over the left-hand side going to be doing more of the same on the opposition side, though. Still got a shield, but it's got a question of whether or not they're going to use it. Big hits coming in from Tensai, managed to make a connection with both of them, and it looks like they're looking for the gas as their answer, but Shitampo will deny that, and now he will follow in shortly after as we see Crazy Raccoon even the score in round 2.
This round then for the first game, a great deal of utility there for Zeta Division. Hypercharge still there with Meow, and supers for both Geru there and Naui, so let's see how they choose to use them. So Hypercharge for Tensai also. Shitampo just trying to work his way around, and a good healthy wall there from Meow, forcing back forcing back CR rather into that bottom left-hand side as it was in that first round. A devastating spot, they won't forget that at all. Continuing to push their way forwards just a little bit. CR now know they've got to push back, and they're doing so, and getting a bit more leg in that mid.
Yeah, they're starting to gain some real ground back up, but in that instance, Meow's going to throw down a wall and try get control of this right-hand side once more. Here comes the hypercharge from Tensai, and everybody springs into action with the side of Crazy Raccoon, raining down on Meow, but surviving narrowly on 278. Now Zeta start to rejoin him in the mid. The pull's there, but it's missed. The shield was pressed as a bit of a countermeasure, but the pull was missed regardless. Now he, over the right-hand side, is marked up, has to be a bit cautious about how he plays this out, but now the hypercharge comes from Moya, extra speed, and there's the Vengeful Spirits as well. Round the right-hand side, now he gets a dirty hit with the super. Moya goes down, Tensai all alone, can he get it done? Gets one, but the gas doesn't hit in time, and Zeta Division take game 1.
There was nowhere to go but up, and straight into a Sprout shot. A very close affair. CR just coming just that a little bit short there. Going into this next one, gonna have to just rethink slightly. So close, but Zeta kept the ice in their veins, claimed the first game now. We need to see a little bit more of an adaptation, a bit more confidence being displayed here from Crazy Raccoon as they're getting pushed around just a little bit too much for me. Could have gone either way, though, let's be honest.
I mean, Meow just playing it so cautiously towards the end there. Did end up staying in the gas, but in the end, outlasted his opponent with a nice hit. Another one of those rocket fuel goes down. Actually tries to use it to get a kill rather than breaking down some of these Sprout walls. That's not the route I would have gone, but now chooses to pivot and go for that wall break on the bottom side where Meow is lingering.
Ooh. Good Rocket Rain connection there from Tensai. And that is exactly the bit of a breath of relief that they can now grasp. All Tampa this low, but the pickup is there from Moya. Lovely stuff. A 3 versus 1 is not something that CR are going to take lightly. They'll be able to just keep things together, get the job done, and get that round on the board.
Seemed to be a bit of overconfidence in there from Zeta Division as well. Went so aggressive and got picked off one by one by the side of Crazy Raccoon. So might need to kind of revert to the default settings of just playing this one a bit more passively and allowing the Sprout to do the work in the late game and the mid game. Kind of allowing them to just have this patience at the start.
Well, Moya is certainly going to want to connect with Meow. In the meanwhile, it's the Tampa that gets the finding of Geru, making it a 3 versus 2, exactly what Crazy Raccoon wants to have going into this one. That first round in the bag. Tensai could even use the hypercharge now and just secure things. Either be the way that I would go is now that top right as well. Meow so incredibly low. As a result, the Hacks Gadget, Tensai dancing, but the support now coming through from Shitampo, from Moya, and that's going to be a game going the way of Crazy Raccoon.
just what we wanted. A close match is what we were promised. And Crazy Raccoon not dropping this first set without a fight. Zeta Vision need to kind of rethink their tactics now, as I feel a slight bit of over-aggression definitely came in there, slight bit of overconfidence, and an early break from Tensei of this right-hand side, choosing not to break this kind of mid-portion of the map at the start.
Makes a lot of sense. They were kind of struggling as Meow started to work his way around to the right then, and kind of that was the wall that was being a bit problematic. As that lane side would start to take hold, Novi there just knows if he can just push forwards, get that pressure on, then those wall breaks are less likely to happen. Now Meow's already got an early wall here as well. Going to place it down. That middle area going to be there as well. Not the best of coverage because Geru's there in the mid waiting to land some of those gust shots, but it will trickle down eventually. And again, this is the position that Zeta like to place Crazy Raccoon in that back left corner. They need to start to spread out and make some space for themselves, keep their HP in check with the result of that star power from the Gene. Tough position now, Tampo's so low.
Easy shots from Meow. He left kind of a pathway through there and chose to punish Tampo, who wanted to walk through it. Moya solo on this top side. Gero trying to pinch in now, but no shots from the Pearl finding it. Meow versus Tensei up close, and the Sprout wins that one. Gero versus Shatampo down the bottom. Now trying to get some shots onto Moya, gets one, and the Gadget as well. 2v1 as Zeta managed to take the first round of the deciding game.
That Gust Shield, instrumental. The decision just to keep pushing their way forwards was really the right one there for Zeta at just the right time. He knew he was a couple of shots away from earning it, and it just came at a perfect time as Moya now with his magic hand needs to find a connection. Well, this set will be all over. Crazy Raccoon have got to survive this one. Just that little bit longer on. He can just kind of pair things with Tampo and get that immediate takedown. It doesn't really matter who he tries to pull now. The Sprout comes down, will provide a little bit of coverage, but not really the best of them for Meow. But the map's so open now, he's not really got much choice.
Still got Gadgets though. There's the pull. Meow gets caught. The shield's wasted from Gero as well. Tries to catch Meow as he's been getting dragged in by Moya, but is unsuccessful in that. 2v1 to make this the decisive round. CR need to get this one in the books and ready to move on to the next. Down goes Naui. Gus going to retreat into the gas, and it's the deciding round to see who takes this first set.
One round for the set, and there's a hypercharge there for Tensei, one there for Meow on the other side of Zeta 2. The Sprout wall's going to be a big one to start things off and keep the pressure on the side of Zeta. Tampo not really using much of the leg form. Look at these two hypercharges now from Crazy Raccoon for both Tensei and Moya, staring down the barrel of Zeta, getting a much better position as a result of it. This hypercharge in the Gene, though, we've seen it not pay off, especially with a Pearl on the other end of the field. So that placement's got to be perfect, but already getting a good foothold in this mid on the side of Crazy Raccoon.
I mean, Zeta Division is so scared, regardless of having 3 supers, because a Gene pull with Hypercharge and a Brock with Hypercharge is going to be a lot more devastating when you're trying to push up the map. Gero rotating around the right-hand side, still got a shield in hand. We have the Hypercharge from the Sprout, but what's that in comparison to the Hypercharge from the Gene? Tampo finding some shots. Down goes this wall on the right-hand side. Moya not really in range of trying to get this pull. He's going to stay and focus on the Pearl.
Well, the gas will not be far away now. Time is ticking, a wall goes down, but there's a double hypercharge on the side of Crazy Raccoon! A trade on both sides now! A 2 versus 2! Tampo finding Meow there, Gero is low as well, but the shot, that second one from Tensei did find it! Everyone is so low! Who is going to be staying left standing? It's a rocket! Double kill for Tensei! And Crazy Raccoon, as a result, will claim the first set!
Tensei gets 2. And throws his hands up in the air in celebration. Zeta Vision look on. The world champions of 2023 are behind in the first game of 2024.
But what a back and forth affair. I mean, really and truly, could have gone either way. It was a slow start there for Crazy Raccoon, as Zeta really did keep the pressure on the earliest moments. They started to adapt, they started to learn along the way as to how to beat their opposition. And they just wall breaks from Tensei. That Brock pick, again, not the flashiest, but certainly one that was just the right call to make in these final moments there as well. Chaotic, to say the least, but nonetheless, CR at the beginning, definitely more than nervous. That was just clutch there from Meow. I mean, a few pixels away from the gas. I think we could be going to a third and final set again on this one, honestly, because Zeta won't be taking that one lying down.
Yeah, I was honestly so surprised to see those kind of closing interactions as frequently as we did. Zeta really wouldn't have been wanting to go into those those late seconds with the Sprout, and how many times Meow got pulled as well. He gets pulled in, Gero wastes his super. There's so many mistakes, I feel, from Zeta Vision. As I mentioned a few times now, a lot of overconscious. Look at that shot from Tensai, that's just gorgeous. How perfect that has got to be to hit both of them there, or the game could have gone very differently.
Yeah, 8 takedowns there for Tensai, and I think absolutely deservedly so. DPS across the board, though, let's be honest, pretty evenly matched. Certainly a bit lower on the side of Novi, but I mean, you'd expect that playing the Pearl. Your job is primarily to kind of stay there and get cooking and try to time your strike. But nonetheless, I mean, whew, what an instrumental gene pool as well at just the right time for Crazy Raccoon. Because if that had been a miss, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that that was a Zeta Division set. And I mean, what a time to get it right on the world stage when it matters most.
Yeah, I will say there were so many instances where the Gene made the big difference, but so many kills out of Tensai as well, being that man who's going to assist the damage when the pull comes through. And we saw it, you know, towards the end there, I started to kind of question if it was going to be a win for them because the Pearl got the super in when pulled in. We're heading on to center stage in Brawl Ball. We've seen it once today already, and it was an explosive game.
It really was. I mean, it's such a great map, honestly. Just perfect for tanks, perfect for coverage. And then the decision as to whether you want to leave that bush and keep that unpredictability. Crazy Raccoon banning the max. That's got to hurt them. It really has. A little bit of a sting to the heart there for Tensai, who we know would love to get his hands on it. Kenji's actually open here. The Mo ban, the Clancy ban, and the max for Crazy Raccoon. And the first pick of Surge is a fantastic one, honestly, for Zeta. I do love to see it. The Lu ban, the Nita, and the Otis from Zeta. We are seeing a little bit of Otis rise up. Well, not one that I was particularly expecting today coming into the World Finals, but I have noticed that Otis is definitely good in certain brawlers, so I don't mind it necessarily. And there is the Kenji. I mean, it kind of had to be, honestly. I mean, again, Crazy Raccoon saying that they really value those two brawlers as being the most problematic in this current meta makes a lot of sense.
I mean, regardless of how many kind of counters you throw at Kenji, he's going to be able to do something in the game regardless. And especially with Mo off the table, which they themselves accounted for, they're the ones who banned that out, is definitely going to be very hard to face. With no Mo, as many tank counters as you want to bring, Kenji's going to be able to do something. I like the Surge pick, though. It's so versatile, very strong. They're going to take the Gale away from Zeta Vision as well to prevent that extra countermeasure.
I wish I cut you off. I was literally going to say it. It had to be. It really did, because if they didn't do that, they were leaving themselves so open for a big problem. I mean, certainly the Surge is already a good brawler into Kenji anyway, so, I mean, I think Zeta has still got a pretty decent opportunity here, but you've got to pair the biggest 10 counter with your Kenji, so good drafting from Crazy Raccoon. They're willing to take the risk into the Surge as well, which is definitely displaying some confidence for me here. And Zeta Division, if they want to choose a tank, they're going to choose a tank, and it's going to be a Frank. Again, as we saw as well, going for the players of Zeta, definitely a brawler which they're quite happy to pick up, and it's a bold one. It really is. I mean, I don't necessarily like his chances against the Gale, though.
I mean, it's my boy Meow's favorite brawler.
Exactly.
So, you know, who knows how well he's gonna. Yeah, you're kind of like, oh, okay, they've taken out tank counter. We'll just go a different one. But no, they actually go, okay, we're going to take a tank into a tank counter. It kind of baffles me a little bit, but I'm sure Zeta Division know what they're doing. They're going to get the stew along the way as well, and I do like that brawler. A very versatile, mobile brawler is going to be a big help for Zeta Division against these two kind of, you know, Kenji's got a lot of mobility, but Stu can still get away.
I feel like this could be a very quick set in favor of Zeta. If they get this right, this Frank is either going to
मुझे सही में चाहिए था कि
absolutely
military वाली team
destroy
जीत जाए,
defense
but
and
क्या
the push along
करे?
with it, or it's going to be a bit of a sort of waste of space. And I say that, and now the Primo coming in as well. It's going to provide an even tougher time for the Frank to really get the value that he's trying to bring to the table. I mean, the Stu can dance around the Primo. I mean, this is going to be a very aggressive set nonetheless, and that is what I'm excited for, Trav.
That's what I signed up for
Exactly.
in the 2024 World Finals of Brawl Stars. Really exciting matchup here. Surge going to be doing a lot against these tanks, getting so many levels. But it's just a question of whether or not Crazy Raccoon are going to be able to force the ball in the net early enough for the Surge to not make the big difference if it gets to overtime. I'm liking my chances with Zeta Division here, but off the start, Tampo trying to move around this left-hand side. Good shots early on from both Gero and Naui. But Mao's going very aggressive. Should be able to pick up Tensai here. Thrown over his shoulder, though. Survives it out just a little bit longer. And a missed pass from Naui. But he is going to surely pick up this ball and get the goal. He misses it! Caught by Moya. And I can't help but feel that's a fumble.
A tense scenario there. One that I feel Zeta should have been able to handle. Meanwhile, Crazy Raccoon now pushing their way back forwards, and Tampo there giving a great amount of scrutiny to Naui. Almost found a triple kill, let's be honest. Moya trying to find the gap between the legs and threads the needle. Still enough is the defense for Zeta.
Good defense from Zeta, but CR had a chance, couldn't quite execute it though. And a hypercharge, ready to roll now for Naui, but who's in his face? It's Tensai on the Primo, gets one, hypercharge there, he's ready for the pass forward, goes in on Meow, gets the kill, and the Kenji's there too. CR take goal one of game one of Brawl Ball.
Very back and forth, but now the Frank hypercharge is there for Novi. He's going to be going straight towards the ball. If he gets this off and pulls it off, nice catch and pop as well prior to it. In the meanwhile, though, Tampa going on the aggressive, gets taken care of finally by Meow, and it's just Moya. But to be fair, of the one of the three brawlers to have on the side of Crazy Raccoon still standing, you want your gal for defense.
Yeah, great pushback there from Moya on the left-hand side. Throws him straight into the hands of Tensai, who got a bit of supercharge along the way from it as well. Going to be able to meet Naui in open combat. Get wasted, super two. Kenji on the right-hand side. Surely a little 1-2 and a goal, but Meow. Oh no!
No!
They saved it, but they still force it in. Crazy Raccoon going to match point.
They're starting to make this look easy. And it shouldn't be looking this easy against the reigning world champions. Zeta are on the ropes. They've got to find an answer. The Frank is strong. I believe that they can still survive this set. But they've got to start making these moments count because Crazy Raccoon have just got all the momentum in their favor.
Kenji going in, not going to find a lot from it as well, and the gadget was used along the way. Stu trying to make some mobility of the right-hand side work now as well. Paired up with the Frank, who's going to be in range of Tensai once more, thrown over his shoulder. Pretty much lands him directly onto Stampo, but luckily able to survive for the side of Zeta Vision. Using a super now, Moya in a tough position. We're going to see the tornado come down, but not going to be able to get a lot from it. Kenji actually slicing and dicing, but Meow will land straight on him and get the tree. Tensai gets a super along the way here. Might want to go for the goal. Chooses to turn back and think better.
Gero's just going to tickle him. Let's be honest, you've got to have Novi there in full force. Jumping in now then is Tensai cycling beautifully and staying alive, most importantly, as now Moya clears up the scraps. It's just Gero trying to buy some time. But in the meanwhile, he's got to get the ball clear, but he sends it straight back.
Tensai wants the super here. He knows he can score if he gets it. Moya's going to miss the super. What a bait from Gero. Little bait and switch in there, but Stampo dashing side to side, evading a few shots from Naui. Nice stuff from CR. 3v2 situation. Down goes another. Just the surge remaining, and it's not enough as Tensai slides it in. 1 minute 20 away from a win.
Zeta need a goal right now. Hypercharge there for Novi, and it should be enough time for BTS to get it off. Tensai leads to the sky and jumps over the top of it. This forward's going to be forced forwards. A great swim from Moya, just 40 HP. Zeta have got to get this ball in the goal, and they do!
Just Zeta hold on. Super available from Tensai, but 3 on the side of Zeta Vision. They're looking for a quick goal to follow up from that one. Meow get that cleared off the line by Gero. Kenji going in, trying to slice and dice, gets one, but now he's still here to defend. Can't get a pass off. Might be a breakaway for Zeta now. They want a chance. Shot's not there, and Tensai will be the one to defend.
So tense, as now Crazy Raccoon join this for the defense. Novi's got to heal up now. So much really pivots on this Frank pick, being able to make something happen here, but Tensai is the thorn in that very idea. Moya low, Stampo on the right-hand side low also has got to be a pitch-perfect defense for Zeta here. 3 consecutive smashes, and Tensai's got to think twice.
Tensai still lives though. He's got all of them there. A little knockback available from Moya. Will use the hypercharge in there as well. Puts it into the hands of Tensai, who will corner the ball. Buy CR a bit of time for some respawns, but Meow wants the ball. He's trying to find it. Jumps over the jump. The knockback's there. Kenji's slicing, but the ball comes in. And Zeta Division live to fight another day.
The timing with that surge was absolutely perfect. It was a jump then, or it was going to be a defense. Zeta finally now off the mark and starting to look like they could bring things forwards. It was looking bleak, so bleak realistically there. As you can see, the Crazy Raccoon was starting to run away with things. It's going to be a tough one. I feel like they are struggling against this Kenji. No doubt about it. They've proved to themselves, most importantly, that they do stand a chance in this set.
Gero gets tossed over his shoulder. A little pass forward for Kenji, but he gets the ball.
Oh,
accidental
no!
pass! An accidental pass into the hands of Gero. That was either the best accident I've ever seen or the best play I've ever seen.
Unreal stuff. Sometimes all you need in the world stage is just a little bit of luck. Meow going in, but Moya has the last say. It's Gero and Naui pushing themselves forwards now. Moya might be far away from a super here, so they've got to be really cautious to not feed into that very idea here. As now Tensai and Tampo join the mix. CR should be able to defend this one.
Yeah, well, the jump from Tensai will secure it, and he does cycle it out as well. Now pinned into this kind of bottom right-hand side corner. Jump goes in, but a jump from Surge will counteract that, and the Stu will be able to run away. Surviving is Meow now, but it's passed over to the left-hand side where Moira awaits. No super in hand, but that will be one. Now the super comes in. Can the pass go through? And he finishes the super in time and denies Ciara goal.
An instrumental save, but now a Tensai coming in with super and the hypercharge. This can be forced through here. Meow comes in and actually makes the final save. It's down to Navi. Can he survive? Nice twister there from Moya just to ensure it. As Crazy Raccoon will equalize for the goal.
One goal for the win, or one goal for a set number 3, and that will be decided. Hypercharge gets through. Massive from Naui, but still nothing for Zeta, and they look to try find another opportunity.
What incredible value, but it's not enough still. As Crazy Raccoon are holding their own and really making Zeta work for this one. It's just Moya. He can gadget on the board, and he will do just that. Navi will get the stun, but they can't get the ball on the side of Zeta.
Yeah, now he's looking for a super now. Can break open all these walls with a single play, but yet to be able to get it to Kenji.
Here it is.
Moya, there's the super. Can they save it? Slice by Chitampo, who saves CR once again. Now it's them on the attack. Can they find the winner?
This is unbelievable, but it is still Crazy Raccoon that are only one goal away from taking this series. A perfectly timed jump into the hands of Garu, who should be able to now dash but wants to get the ball. It's just Tensai, he's got Gadget now as well, and that's got to be on the minds of Zeta.
Tensai goes for ball, but actually plays it straight into their hands once more. Instead of it, he gets the pass, and the goal's there from Zeta Division. Provided to them on a plate by CR. They even the score. It's 1-1.
We are going all the way. What a pleasure to watch these two teams dance. Deservedly so, Zeta, a little bit of luck sprinkled in, but sometimes you need that to get back in the game, and it was not an easy comp to face into, not by a long shot. I was so worried for Novi, honestly, because that Frank is devastating into a Kenji. You're really struggling to land your shots. To see the plays he was able to establish in that, with that in mind, it was beautiful to watch.
What a jump from me out there on the defensive portion of the map, and now he did manage to force the ball in the end. Zeta Division doing a great job of holding on. When we expected CR to kind of run away with it, they looked so confident. They were
There was the fumble, yeah. Crazy, just landing straight at the feet of Garu, and Crazy Raccoon couldn't really recover from it. Definitely weren't expecting it to be the case, to be down so quickly. That was a beautiful pass too, really was. I mean, oh my goodness, we've got to talk about Meow in that matchup. 18 kills, 521 DPS is crazy. It makes Chitampo's 14 kills and 440 look actually miserable by comparison. Crazy stuff there from Zeta.
I mean, what a matchup that was, and we expected no less. We saw the comments and we're like, okay, they're doing a little something. They're going aggressive. We're going to see some great games, and that is exactly what we saw. Sweating. I'm sweating after that one. I need to wipe my head.
They're sweating on the stage. We're sweating on the desk. But, I mean, what a spectacle. It really, really was. I mean, we knew coming in when we saw the draft in that game, it was going to be spectacular. And both teams there just proving that to be true. A wonderful draft. We've got to give our blessings towards it and a lot of credit to it. To move in to what will be the decider here. It's going to be Shooting Star as the map, Bounty, of course, as the mode, and a very important draft now. A huge decision in what I said from the beginning is the group of death, in my opinion. Will Crazy Raccoon get their revenge after they were taken down last year by this very team who went the distance to claim the crown and be declared the Brawl Stars World Champions of 2023. The bans are in, the Max, the Sprout, and the Kenji for Crazy Raccoon, the Sprout, the Tick, and the Angelo for Zeta Division.
Yeah, well, we saw the Kenji come in last time. It was kind of, it was okay. It freed up some room for the rest of his team, but didn't do the most. RT will be brought in by Moya as the first pick. It's one of the more versatile ones if they choose to bring something aggressive, and I kind of don't expect it now Kenji's out of the way. It can do both. It's best of both worlds.
Certainly going to have that ability to now hover over the mid as well, which I really do like for RT. Makes a lot of sense when you look and consider the design of that brawler. Zeta Division, certainly a lot of ranged options here. Byron hasn't really made a play yet today in the draft. I'm really kind of hoping it does come through here for Zeta. Gus is their first idea. Definitely very much now a first pick worthy brawler in the meta as well. So really great stuff for Zeta, starting hand already in motion. But certainly they've got to consider the amount of range control potential as well. If they want to go for a potential thrower along the way. Bell, Piper, that kind of thing is very much my flavor, but Byron, you know, gives us a bit of flexibility to combine with a tankier push or a speedier push along the way as well, so wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah, well, I do like the Gus as a first pick. I will say Nani adds that kind of sharpshooter that you wanted to see, and also kind of does well against the rest of the sharpshooters with that extended range, kind of sprays out at the end and makes it really, really tough to dodge if you're someone like Moira or someone like a Piper, as well as that RT, obviously. So we'll see what Crazy Raccoon do have to answer that, because Gus and Nani are two incredible picks from Zeta Vision. We know the draft is something that Crazy Raccoon have been struggling with for the past few years, all the way throughout these monthly finals and through last year. They get carried forwards by how good they are, how mechanically skilled they are at this game. But the draft does need to be a big, big part of it, and Gene is what they think is the answer.
It's a nice pick for Zeta Division. Having that Nani really kind of deters Crazy Raccoon away from the Piper idea. It's such a hard counter into it. So they were thinking it. They've now got to reconsider themselves. With the Gene then coming through, just allowing more healing off the back things and being able to make that power play with the Magic Hand, of course, can be a huge turning point in the back and forth. Third and final pick now coming in for Crazy Raccoon to round off this comp. Going to be going with the Grey. A brawler which, again, first time seeing today, I really quite like it. The ability to really go in at that moment of weakness on your opposition's side with the TP, get your goods, get back out again as well if you're playing it, and the technique of Crazy Raccoon really does lend itself perfectly to a brawler of that very nature. I mean, we could be in for a real treat if we see some Grey plays coming through. For Zeta Division, they might be opting potentially for a Pearl. We've seen that kind of combination with the Gus come in. Ooh. Penny. That is a bit of a controversial one. Certainly one that's coming forward a little bit more in the pro scene, but we've not been a massive fan of it here on the desk.
Yeah, I mean, with that extended range, it does allow itself to be played on a map like Shooting Star. Yeah, albeit not probably the best brawler for this map. But then again, I think Grey over the other side is another one of those. You know, it's kind of, you know, it's okay on some maps, but when you need range, you don't go Grey. And when you're faced with a Nani and a Gus who have that range, I feel like that puts you a bit of a disadvantage. I think Zeta Vision might have what it takes here.
Interesting stuff. Well, either way, this is where it's going to be decided. A missed walking cane there by Tensai to start things off. Big taps though from Shatampo on the right-hand side onto Novi, and there is a gadget there, the Hacks gadget, bringing Novi down so low there, forcing him back and continued aggression. Shatampo's not done yet, but Novi still stays standing. Another Hacks gadget, 108 HP. They just can't kill him.
Yeah, relying on Moya to come in and get a shot in, but it never arrived. Very difficult for him there, and only one return to sender was used in that process. Meow. Going to be marked up, not going to be able to find the second shot. Now that comes down. I'm not sure Shatampo can really reach that through the map, and a lot of damage rolling on in. Meow so low, and that mortar shot is going to be missed. Paul going to be used on the mortar there. Don't really want to overextend for it, and they do remain in a bit of a deficit of stars. The blue star is deciding so far. The Zeta are in their spawn and not got the best position.
Yeah, I don't mind that pull. I think it opens up the map a great deal. The Peep does find a connection down in the bottom left. Shatampo as well, just continuing that aggression. Salty Barrel not going to be doing too much there, but it might be something of a bit of a defensive maneuver on that top right later on down the lines. Gero having that shield, such a great thing to have on the defense. It's just the blue star so far. Keep coming around, it's going to cycle, finds a connection onto Moya. But Moya stays standing. Zeta Division holding well under the scrutiny, it must be said.
Zeta Division managing to spring back out, and there's the Kooky Popper that secures the kill. Extends the lead to 3. As Crazy Raccoon kind of look up a really big hill here in Bounty. 30 seconds on the clock. Hypercharge ready to roll. Going to be used there as well. We've got the shield available from Gus too. Shatampo going to be the target. He pivots and goes for Tensai. Extends it to 5.
This is fantastic here for Zeta, who've not missed a step, but there is still time. 15 seconds now for a counter response from Crazy Raccoon. They've got to find 6 stars or get a combination with the blue. Gary pulled in, pops the shield. They're still staying and standing. A TP there from Tensai, but a pull from Moya. They find the blue. Can they get 3 stars on the right-hand side? Novi is so low, they can't secure it. And Zeta's Division stays standing, enough to make it a match point.
Millimeters away from the win. Crazy Raccoon are now faced with a match point. Zeta Division held strong with the blue star for so much of that game, and in the closing seconds almost flipped right in front of their faces. But now only 2 minutes if they get this blue star between Zeta Division and the win.
The adaptation there from Crazy Raccoon to being tapped to that left-hand side instead of the right. Walking Cane does connect from Tensai, but Meow stays standing. And Zeta do secure that blue star, and that gives them that position of power that we saw in the previous game. Already a peep coming in, working his way forwards, but not going to find anything but a wall there for Zeta. A bit of a miss now, and Crazy Raccoon know it. They're going to strike now while the iron's hot, as the Tampo fires Navi.
Yeah, Walking Cane missed over the left-hand side there, but a pull is available for Moya. Hopefully they don't feed him too much, but Meow might be able to get a mortar in these little kind of close-range matchups that he does have a bit of an advantage with the Salty Barrel in. Tampo getting so many good hits, and Moya with a pull can really extend this lead if he hits it.
See now, Meow's in a bit of a tight spot on his left-hand side. Peep coming in yet again, but on that top right as well. We see the low, but Moya missed the pull. That's a terrible time for it. He could have secured that kill if he'd been able to land it. Meanwhile, Crazy Raccoon still have the lead, but definitely a miss onto Geru. Moya should have done better.
Yeah, felt like he had quite a lot of free roam ability there. Nobody was really pinching him. A couple more tiles forward and the pull would have just hit with a quick click of the auto-aim. But some good shots coming in. Might be able to cycle this one out quite quickly. Gero falls low and has to retreat. Now the mortar is available. And it's an aggressive one, but Walking Cane straight through the wall. And that's a great play from CR.
Definitely what you want instead of the magic hand, if you've got it to your advantage. Now Tensei has no more gadgets. Hypercharge coming in now. This is a huge peep. Potential connection finds Moya there as Zeta continues to keep the pressure on now. Closing in. They are looking for their star. Tensei has the TP, but where will he go? That's the question. Shield handed over from Gero there to Mao. There, Tensei's low and falls as well. Zeta have got the lead now on the retreat. The pull there from Moya here is good. As the Tampo there for support. There is still time. Will Zeta find a pickup? Hypercharge for CR. The Tampo is low but surviving on. The peep comes in. Crazy Raccoon survive.
Double match point up next as CR narrowly survive in the bottom left-hand corner. Beaten down, but don't fall. Standing strong, heading on into this last game. Who will win it, and who will take this first game in the group?
Unreal, honestly. I mean, for the second match on the A stream to go the distance. I love it. A miss Walking Cane though from Tensei. I'm not loving that as much. Already Zeta getting themselves stuck into this mid, getting that blue star again for the third time running. And now running back to their spawn, marked up there. There's Novi there from that RT connection. We did see Moya gain that magic hand, connected most importantly. No more time for misses now. This is the final game of this series, and whoever wins it will take this in their set, get that early advantage in Group C.
Both Tensei and Meow really want their supers, but aren't willing to overextend and take a risk to get them. Tampo finding some great shots, wonderful pinch over, but Tensei can't hit his shots. And the same for Meow. The ability on this left-hand side to juke is just so good. The Walking Cane's there. The Salty Barrel wasn't required to tank as he survives and lives to fight another day regardless.
So much pressure. 1 minute remaining on the clock. Another peep coming in there for Novi. Tampo's low as well. He's going to be working his way around, gathering more damage. Tensei's knocked back into the arms there of Meow and just about survives. Good, solid connection, but Tensei kept his cool and did not TP away. And Novi there so low, the shield is keeping him alive from that Gus. And a perfect TP there, but Tensei couldn't get the follow-up. But one takedown is all that CR need to gain the lead.
Tensei being the cleanup crew makes this a one-star win. For Crazy,
what a pull!
What a pull! And I think the Gus shield was missed in there as well. Huge waste and a big star loss for Zeta Division.
25 seconds for Zeta to claim back a ton of stars. They've got the blue, but they need 3 at least, and that'll be Tampo, Moya, or just Tensei all around. Peep coming in, finds it. Still 6 stars, and the blue with Crazy Raccoon. And Zeta down 1 man. Can't really go for this push.
But enough time to do it. 10 seconds there. Vengeful Spirits come out. Return to sender sends it straight back to Moya. But 5 seconds. Will it be done? The pull's going to be missed. Meow surely going to fall. They do nothing but extend the lead. And Crazy Raccoon beat the world champions.
Back and forth all the way. But Crazy Raccoon get their revenge. Who can forget last year when Zeta Division knocked them out of the 2023 World Finals to a 3-2 scoreline. Now, Crazy Raccoon put the world champions on the back foot in the earliest possible moment in Group C.
It's just really not a position you want to be in, taking those early losses in the groups, and I'm well aware that this is the group of death. People are going to be taking story, and what a pull that was as well. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff from Crazy Raccoon all the way through. The pinching ability that this team has, the mechanics is just unmatched.
I mean, here at 10, so I got all three. I would have jumped off the set. Honestly, unbelievable. Just a couple of pixels away, but that was Moya's redemption arc, really, for me. Definitely had a bit of trouble connecting to some of those pools, but did land the ones that mattered the most. Just the tempo as well, as we said, coming out of the gates was just absolutely tapping on that RT pick, despite a huge, healthy amount of DPS there for Novi. Just wasn't enough to carry then Zeta through, and Novi, he just carried with those peeps. He really did cycle so many to the table. It just wasn't enough. And for Crazy Raccoon, what an amazing result for them to start off their day.
I mean, I think we've got to touch on that, Penny. I don't think it can be ignored. Real tough stuff for Zeta Division. Not the best of drafts in the closing set of their first game. Tensai getting the MVP, and I think that is fair to say that is well deserved.
You can see how much it means to him as well. Just huge smiles. I mean, going back to 2022, though, I mean, they were smiling in the potential defeat that laid upon them as well. So realistically there for Crazy Raccoon, they're always smiling, but nonetheless, I mean, a massively important victory for them and a challenging one, to say the very least, against the world champions of Zeta Division. I mean, what a way to start things off. We've had so much incredible action. So take a little recap now of those groups and see where the score lines have landed. It's been already unreal, Trav.
I mean, here we have it. We saw SK Gaming take down Elevate, and Pioneers managed to beat Space Station in quite a swift 2-0, I will say as well. As we just witnessed now, Crazy Raccoon beat Zeta Division in that final double match point. Humble were victorious in Group D over Rival Esports, and I think that's fair to say that I was kind of expected.
We're looking pretty good for our predictions so far today,
I mean, honestly, it's rare I'm not looking good for my predictions.
Come on.
You know, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I think, 4 for 4 maybe so far, so I think the majority of the casting team was aligned on them.
I mean, honestly, it can still go either way for me. I mean, it's been that close. We'll definitely gloat a little bit, but nonetheless, I mean, when you look at the action that we've had, I mean, at any given point, it could have gone either way, but that is our second match down on Stream A. Plenty more where that came from. We're gonna go to a very short break. You do not want to miss what follows. We'll be right back after this.
Over here now, right on top of the safe. Big damage there with a gadget too. Shredding through it, but now SK finally have some potential to make a unified push onto the enemy side. Tank specialist for the team, Lena, has been routinely running the gauntlet all the way to the enemy side, defended only by Jubileo. He'll survive, but only for a moment. Here comes Joker for the kill.
SK Gaming was the opening game here of Heist. Beautifully done. I mean, you just can't let that melody on your safe. It is the queen of base races, and she struck again here. Very nicely done by SK. Let's see if Foot have an answer here. They got it close, and for the most part of this game, they were actually in the lead.
I actually want to point something out as well. We see Joker running a different star power from Bell than is usual. Typically, you'd be running the shield, but Joker's instead running grounded. It prevents Motep from reloading his shots once he gets onto that safe. So we'll see if that makes another additional impact. Motep in on the safe, but SK Gaming is seriously churning out this damage on Foot's side.
Becca has a super. Can he find the angle? Just goes for damage on safe, and that's the safe approach. As Daryl's getting absolutely melted down. I mean, damage booster. Oh, look at the moves from Luna. Just wiggling through. Dash and dash and dash, and picks up the elimination. Gets into that pesky corner on the right-hand side. And the Colt does not have any way to break things open just yet, and Lena is onto that save, and he's overstaying his welcome, but the damage is pouring through. 11% left, and SK Gaming on the verge of taking the opening set.
Just 10%. Joker pops a hypercharge. There's one, there's two. It's only going to take a little bit more from Lena, who's got the movement. He's got the gadget as well. In fact, he's got one to spare. Additional super farmed out. 1, 2, 3 shots will do the trick. No, it'll be down by just a little bit more damage. He needs 2 shots out here to really finish it off. Has the supers equipped for the later stage of the game. Yoshi's got that hypercharge, but he can't use it. He's got to just power through. There it is! SK Gaming with a set 1 win.
Foot defended as much as they could, but eventually some damage would slip through the defense and connect towards that save. Beautifully done by SK Gaming. What an opening statement of a set here. Game 1 was somewhat close. Game 2, not at all. SK Gaming was a statement here.
I want to shout it out again. The choice of star power for Joker. We saw Motep get pretty aggressive in here. And check this out. Motep, he's just wandering around. Cannot even attack despite his fast reload speed as that Daryl. We actually saw this niche star power swap make an impact. These are the kind of edges that SK Gaming are looking for, that competitive edge with a niche star power swap.
Yeah, that was some crazy Bell tech I had pretty much never seen before. It was played a little bit like early days of Bell, but it's been a long time since I've seen that star power app play. That's some obscure stuff here that is lovely to see in the World Finals. I mean, this is why in the scrims and the tournaments leading up to the World Finals, teams don't reveal their hand, because there is stuff like this that just no one really is aware of and no one utilizes to the potential it has. And I mean, SK Gaming, a prime example of a team that's able to just make the most out of each star power, each gadget of each brawler's skill.
That's what you get when you got Coach Pedro Guijarro at the wheel. Let's check out their stats. Yoshi leading the squad, leading the entire lobby in terms of kills over here, as he's able to play offensive and defensive when it comes to dealing with that Colt. The Byron, he's got, you know, comparable range, but into that Daryl, he is able to absolutely shred through. The only struggle was the mobility, but he was usually following the squad. He's sending off Lena on these reconnaissance missions to deal the real damage to the enemy safe.
Foot Esports leading in kills, but I mean, as many of us know in Heist, it's not about kills, it's about damage on safe, and I think that Melody on the Lena here, or the opposite rather, the Lena on the Melody, that was just a fantastic performance. I mean, he just was such a pest throughout that set, creating so many opportunities for his team, and once he got on that safe, it was just unbelievable amounts of damage.
We saw some times where it was just practically game over. You know, he was inseparable from that safe. He's picking up kills while also taking down that safe at the same time. It's a difficult balance to strike that takes some real coordination with Melody Brawler. One that usually is, you know what, I'm going to run at the enemy safe, I'm going to deal damage. What are you going to do? Because I have simply so much mobility, and it's tough to line up some of those shots. So you can see the time that Lena has invested on really perfecting the craft of playing the Melody here. And I want to actually shout this out once again from the draft front, is that we didn't see Chuck picked, and we didn't see him banned either. And SK Gaming, this was a deliberate decision by them, managed to take the win.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, you know, I have it on top of my notes. First pick, you ban Chuck. Last pick, probably still ban Chuck. I mean, that says a lot about how ridiculous this brawler is in this game mode. Besides like hot potato, maybe, for the most part, it's just really, really good everywhere in Heist. But it seems like both teams here were okay with just having it open and not playing it out anyway. It's a bit of a risk maybe taken here by SK, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think it worked out very, very nicely for them. Foot, I mean, there's no time for remorse, no time for rethinking their past decision now. You gotta move on to set number 2, and that's gonna be Hard Rock Mine. I mean, what a legendary gem grab map. One of the most iconic ones in the Brawl pool, pretty much from all time.
Ever since the beginning of Brawl Stars, Hard Rock Mine has been here. You'll see it in every single Brawl Talk because it's just that essential to the game, which has given us a lot of time to figure out what's good here. Got to see that Rico in the ban phase or in the picks, but we haven't seen it just yet. And in a lot of ways, actually, there is a good approach to this brawler where you simply don't play the lane. And from top tier teams like this, I fully expect that to be an option on the table. But let's talk this first pick. Max, gonna get this aggression going right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, the bans just make sense, right? I mean, you have last pick, you're banning Mo and Kenji. Pretty straightforward to that extent. Stu is a bit more targeted, to be completely honest. A bit more unexpected. Maybe because it's a counter to Rico, and SK Gaming really want to lock in that Rico. We'll see if that maybe is a strategy. Lola is an interesting one. It has seen quite a bit of play recently. Not a top tier brawler by any means, but enough to be a threat and a brawler that I kind of respect here on Hard Rock Mine, and not something you'd see every day, especially with still quite a few options open.
Well, as a tried and true APAC pick, that's where we usually see it come through, and hey, maybe SK Gaming are taking a page out of their book, but hey, it's never been really a bad brawler. There's some obvious counters to it. I think it should be able to shred through some tanks on these lanes. Let's talk Surge. This one always worries me anytime I see it come up because you always run the risk of getting stuck on level 1 for the entire game. Kit coming out here. I'm starting to get worried. Do we see a Max, Kit, and potentially another tank? Because Max is actually going to form a pretty consistent mid here. Also, when we look at SK Gaming, what's their mid going to be? I'm looking at 2 lanes for SK Gaming, and they have this last pick. To save your mid selection for last pick is very unusual, and in many cases can actually be a waste of having the last pick.
Yeah, this last pick is going to have to be a pairing with that kid. And of course, it's going to be a Frank. I was thinking maybe Daryl could be an idea. Frank is an interesting approach here as well. Obviously very tanky, but it's a good opportunity for the kid to just stack on top of him, provide him with some of that support, and of course, some throwing as well. Daryl last pick here for SK Gaming makes a lot of sense. It's one of the go-to answers towards that Frank. Colette could have been a move as well. I just think it doesn't do super great on this map in general. But Daryl is a bit more of a head-on approach, so I definitely respect that too.
I look at Daryl as a selection that should be able to take down this Frank. We see Frank having a couple of options here in terms of gadget. He can go for the pull with additional damage, and he can go for the immunity to stunts. Well, realistically, against SK Gaming with their selections here, what are you really going to go for? Is Daryl that high of a priority that you're willing to surrender the bonus damage in the pull? We'll see how this lane works out. It's Lina tied onto Pekka on the left side.
Lina head on here against Pekka already with some rolls. Let's see if he can get the elimination. He will secure it. Jubilee has a super, is going to stack on top of Motep, provide some support over on that front, and so far, so good here for both sides. Pretty even start. Lina in the back line, does manage to find one, but the trade is there. Nice jump from Yoshi, looking for Pekka, and he does secure the elimination. A 2-gem lead here, but Jubilee is going to jump on top of Joker, and that's going to be a quick trade.
Not ideal. Gem carriers out here. That's Lina with 4, Yoshi with 3. Pekka's going to come in looking for a hypercharge. Lina tries to get right under him, but still manages to trade. Jubileu in a rough position over here on the right side, trying to get the jump on Joker. So we see Yoshi now as a gem carrier for the squad. 8 gems strong, just looking for a couple more. It's going to alter the way that SK Gaming have to play this, but it's just fine because every single member of this draft for SK Gaming is well tailored for playing a lane.
Yeah, Lina just earlier did not want to live. A trade was the perfect scenario here for him. He didn't want to hold on to those gems. Yoshi taking a little bit of a risk here, needs to be careful, but he does manage to run out of there. Perfectly calculated. Lina will grab gem number 10, but of course he's in the back line, so that's a quickly interrupted counter by Foot.
Yeah, didn't really have much interest in rolling all the way to safety. Knew what would happen if he did so because Pekka still has this super at his disposal. Now, Yoshi is 10 gems strong, running for the back left. Jubileu's looking for the jump. Yoshi to the sky. Joker still stunned, but remains alive. Motep, Pekka, both on low health. Here comes a hypercharge and a super soon to come in. Yoshi's all the way on the right side. Pekka knows that this one is over, and SK Gaming go to match point.
No answers just yet here from Foot Esports, and SK are on the verge of qualifying for day 2 of the World Finals, a game away, but Foot is still standing in their way.
Well, they're gonna have to do better than that because so far they have not gotten a set win at all. It's gonna have to be an all-out reverse sweep to the very finish of set 3 if they plan to make this happen. Already on the right side, Yoshi closing in. Oh my God, Yoshi! Already to level 3, completely shut down both of the brawlers, double stacking his lane.
Disgusting plays from Yoshi on that surge. Absolutely demolishing the Foot squad here. Pekka does find Lina on the top left corner. Joker with a kill on Jubilee on the right side. Motep is running out of space. Yoshi's still alive somehow, and a kill is locked in by Joker. Pekka quickly makes it a trade as he finds him there on the left-hand side, and the stun on Joker is huge. The gems, they're gonna be dropped. Pekka with the stun onto Yoshi, and Pekka's running away with the gems.
Lina's gonna go for it. Motep retrieving them all. He's up to 9 now, looking for number 10. That's a hypercharge out. Jubilee is close to that super. He's got it now. Easy kill on a Joker, but he's right into the clutches of Lina. Cycles the super. Yoshi trying to get the stun on Pekka, but it's no use. Even with the gadget popped, he falls.
This may have been a deadly mistake for SK Gaming. They had the game in their hands, they had the match in their hands, but Food Esports strike back with their first game of the series. It's not over just yet.
Had to be a misplay over there from the Surge. He popped that hypercharge intending to super. Frank's super is so choreographed, he meant to jump, but simply didn't. Hopefully not a misplay that cost him the entire match. But it has put Foot Esports in the running now. For a match win, they need to finish off set number 2 here and now.
Oh, double stack on the left-hand side, but Lana still manages to make it a double kill. He's gonna be traded out, but a 2-for-1 is still gonna grant so much control here over to SK Gaming. That's a great start for them, but the stun is gonna be the punishment. The gems over to Motep's pocket now, as he already has 4 locked in for Foot.
Disgusting kit play on the right side. Here comes Yoshi with the jump in, has that gadget. Jubileu eliminated. Pekka fires back. Lana going for the gem carry. Motep's got to speed away. Excellent timing of that super to return, and Motep is now equipped with that hypercharge. That means free super for Jubileu, who's now going for Joker. Pekka on the right side breaking open all of these walls. Yoshi has that super, but he is relegated to just level 2. Brief stun on the Pekka, cycled out. Yoshi can make it happen. He's got that hypercharge, big damage on Motep, but he's too far gone.
Great play from Yoshi here to keep them into this set, as they have regained quite a bit of control. Pekka is being tossed around like a football by Lana. Nice plays from the Swiss player, as Food Esports are locked into their spawn. Sure, we're still a gem lead, but slowly SK Gaming is catching up.
Incredible from Lana. Pekka now coming in with 7 gems. Not the brawler that you want to have these gems on. As Foot Esports have been backed all the way up to their spawn with Lana going for these trick shots on the Daryl. Joker's managed to get up to 8 gems. Jubileu on the back right is still a lurking threat. The death, potentially, but Yoshi keeps him back. A more consistent game out here from both parties. 9-8 on the gem count.
Pekka still in a bit of a tough position holding those gems. He can't overcommit to any fight. And he really would like to lose those, but still remain in control. The further we get into the game, the harder that's going to be to do. But Jubileu goes for a solo jump onto Yoshi. There's just no response here from Food. No help from his teammate to trade on the right-hand side. But still a 2-on-2 here in the middle. They need 2 gems. I think they still have time to tie here. But Food Esports need the next 2 that spawn. Lana is not able to get the kill. Is there enough time? 10-11, 1 second left, but the elimination from Joker onto Pekka is gonna lock in the match. SK are through to day 2.
And as number 1 seed, the number 3 team from EMEA establishes dominance. And Foot Esports are now relegated to controlling their destiny in the final match for this group.
Able to pop the super and get some extra health now with under 10 seconds left in the round. Space Station at 82 still, but they've lost Firecrow. Edinho barely clinging on, and here comes Maru. Here comes the pressure from Reply Title, and they snatch the round away. Give them an inch, and they'll take a mile.
One push is all it takes for Applied Totem. 2 minutes of pain, but 30 seconds of success, and they take the first game against Space Station.
Oh man, they had to batten those hatches for so much of the round. Takes so much patience to just deal with that punishment, come back and pay it back with interest.
Well, Totem are going to be looking for a much better start. Regardless of the win, they did not look comfortable in that first game of Safe Zone. Maru, assuming his position over this left-hand side, going to try to keep the range and not feed the Melody super as early as last time. And this time for Totem, much better positioning and an early kill as well.
Maru as well doesn't have his jump gadget. He is using the wall penetration ability. Edinho's going to chase him down. Maru knew his goose was cooked there. Chaos under a lot of pressure as well. 1v3. Gadget won't help him much there. He's trying to preempt the dive from Edinho, who just respects that Amber gadget damage and backs it up.
Yeah, Kydok almost brought down after picking up that supply drop as well. Aradinho going forwards, but uses that last shred of super. You get 3, and only 1 remain for him, but a bit of burn down damage comes in as well from Maru. Gets that as well, and Chaos's positioning is flawless. The same thing happening to Space Station as last game, but this time much, much earlier.
This is exactly what Reply Totem are looking for. And I've got to hand it to Maru. He is not allowing Adinho to bully him on this left side anymore. Maru plays from inside the super, gets healed up, and of course can threaten Adinho with huge amounts of burst damage. Adinho wants to come forward now, but as you mentioned, Gadget's going to be important for Melody to get in there, and she needs 3 music notes to have that shielding. So here comes Adinho, comes in. 2 notes, Maru getting pressured away, but Adinho has not really touched the safe. Able to get the 1, but Mari staves him off.
Cycles the super back, but down he goes. Chaos now moving forwards, trying to pick up Firecrow before he can get to this super. Does make sure he doesn't secure it. Adinho trying to power through, picks up that power up along the way. Now making the move over the right-hand side, but runs out of supers. Can't make his way towards the safe just yet. And a good pinch between Mori and the respawning player will be a big help to Totem.
Adinho's in trouble here. Very compromising position as Chaos eventually burns him to a crisp. Maru with the hypercharged super means he can move with it and get healed up. Virtually unkillable within that window. Now playing from within the damage booster. That terrain gets broken up by Kyodog's supply drop. 26 seconds left in the round and Kyodog is taken out of the game. Chaos wanted to come forward, but Firecrow had the taps to bring the Amber down.
Not the time to go down for either of the teams here. Mori going to try and bring down Adinho before he can make the push around the right side. 3v1 and Kyodog all alone.
10 seconds.
Goodbye to him too. And Reply Totem will add to their lead and take set number 1.
Oh, buddy. What a statement to make for Reply Totem. We questioned the comp a lot for Space Station. We were proven wrong early, but the power of that 8-bit Amber Angelo combination for Reply Totem gets them over the line.
Triple Maru jersey in the crowd as well. Paying pence to what Reply Totem have just showed there as well. Beautiful, beautiful stuff from them. And now just 1 game away from not only knocking Space Station out of the Brawl Stars World Finals in 2024, but in turn, securing themselves a day 2 as well.
How would that work for Space Station? Win 3 monthly finals, come into Worlds looking like the best team in your region, and immediately get dunked. Reply Totem looking dangerous though. Don't be fooled by that number 6 seeding they've been given. They come from a region that forges incredible rosters. And I got it, man, Mari looks sick. I'm gonna be honest with you. He really handled Adinho. Once Reply Totem got a feel for the tempo that Melody wanted to bring, they played just outside of Adinho's range. Maru didn't give that ground for free, threw down supers for the extra health, and dared Adinho to come up and challenge.
I mean, you can see how much Adinho has done for this team, but all of that was in game number 1, and Reply Totem still managed to secure that as well. And these are the reasons we question the Ruffs. Yes, you're going to be able to provide some power-ups. He may have assisted in some kills from Adinho, but 2 kills himself, it's just plainly not enough.
Not at all. I mean, we know what the Ruffs are supposed to do there. We get an idea of it. We see it play out. Supply drops are used to open up the map a little bit, set up some of your longer range brawlers, maybe allow Adinho to benefit from the empowerment of the supply drop itself. But that Master Fletcher gadget use there by Angelo, the pick-off right at the start of that second round, really set the tone for Reply Totem to take it away. Now it's best of 3, folks, so Hard Rock Mine has to be victorious here for Space Station, or they are headed home.
And I can't help but feel confident for the side of Reply Totem now. All of the crowd here in Helsinki backing them as well. Feel a very limited amount of Space Station cheers going on. And Gus is going to be the first pick for Reply Totem on Hard Rock Mine.
This is definitely a pick to maybe set up another brawler for Reply Totem. It says very little about what the plan is going to be for their composition. Gus in and of himself, pretty powerful. His super knocks opponents back, whether it's used on Gus or one of his teammates. And Kooky Popper always represents kill potential when you least expect it. Space Station needs to be very careful of that 3rd balloon that hits. Here comes the surge here. Very high damage brawler, one that can really dominate a side lane.
Yeah, it takes tanks out of the mix, which is kind of what you tend to see coming in down the lane when you see Augustus the first pick. Penny going to be rolling back on in. Not got the highest success rate so far.
So much of
and
it,
we
though.
do keep on, it keeps on coming back, and I'll keep on questioning it until it proves me wrong.
Yeah, we've seen it on Heist, fair enough, I guess. We've actually seen it on Out in the Open in the past, right? That Heist map we just saw, excuse me, to put pressure down on the safe and make it hard to actually defend it. But here, might even see it be a mid-pick. Salty Barrel used quite frequently. So here's that tank that we sort of saw Reply Totem telegraph here. Picked into the surge, no less.
Yeah, we kind of expect to see that staved off because of that first pick from Space Station. It's not hard to pivot when you're with the Gus. He's capable on his own regardless of not being able to provide a shield to a tank. but they're just going to run the Daryl straight into the Surge. I mean, who can blame them? With that rework, giving him 2 rolls for each super he earns, it becomes a much better brawler. Nita to go along with it as well. Not only is that a great pick on the lane, but it's a great pick to take away from Space Station 2.
It also, it just represents a huge amount of pressure across the map. The Clancy gets picked up here. Well, again, at level 3, probably the scariest brawler in the game. Does an unbelievable amount of damage and gets an empowered super as a result of that. But, you know, seeing the Nita coming in, hypercharge, of course, legal here for Worlds, means that Bruce is a real threat, especially with something like Faux Fur, you know, to reduce incoming damage. Reply Totem are making a real gambit here for map control, trying to shut Space Station away. But as soon as they get rolling, as soon as the Surge gets levels, as soon as the Clancy builds credits up, that's when Space Station will be at their peak. They're playing 2 brawlers that get stronger in the long game.
Yeah, Clancy, definitely going to be a big, big help against the Daryl, and the same goes to be said for the Surge too. I just still have to question Penny mid. Yes, it's going to be okay against the Gus. It's got some more range thanks to a nice little balance change that Penny got. But is it going to be enough to stave off the Nita Bears? Yes, splash through them, but the Daryl rolling in as well is just such a big thing that you've got to account for when you're playing that mid.
I mean, that is a brawler, much like, you know, Clancy, that doesn't want to be run up on, that doesn't want to be pressed in close quarters. Again, we like the look of Reply Totem's composition, at least that's the vibe I'm getting for you here, Trav. Space Station have access to 2 of the highest damage brawlers in the entire game, and Penny's no slouch in that metric either. But this is gem grab. This is about having a safe mid and keeping them alive. Reply Totem want to push up the side lanes with their tanks, be really annoying to duel against, and you'll see early in the game, they're going to have such an advantage in those matchups. They need to really snowball those, make sure Space Station never actually get into the round.
We're going to need a quick win for Reply Totem if they want to be able to win this one, because Surge and Clancy, when powered up, are going to be devastating for the Daryl. And the same goes for the Gem Carrier as well. If you've got a level 4 Surge with hypercharge running, the amount of range, the amount of spray that can happen with that hypercharge on top of the brawlers like the Penny, who's going to be able to splash through this Bruce, like the Clancy, who's going to be completely leveled up by the end of this game, I'm sure, against the Daryl. And if not, something's gone wrong.
This, of course, is Reply Totem's first outing for 2024 Worlds. Regardless of the result in this match, they will be facing Kansas City Pioneers in their last game of the group. That will be a blockbuster, but this one promises to be spicy as well. We're jumping into Hard Rock Mine, folks. Space Station must win this set.
Chaos picking up an early gem off his side. Mori, and over the right side, Maru's just going to stay nice and safe on this right-hand side, stay out of the way of Dino's shots, but now he's sneaking up, finds some great shots and a little bit of an overextension, but he's earned a good amount of that power-up.
Yeah, gets good damage, almost to silver, but Chaos snipes him away. Here comes Maru with the tar barrel for the slow. Kyodog at least has to level up for that invulnerability frame and avoids being taken down, but Maru can do that over and over again.
Totem are well aware they need this early win, and that's why they don't mind feeding them early on. Kyodog getting some great shots in, wonderful stuff in the back lines here, thanks to that Gus shield as well. Penny finds a couple of connections, but Maru will go straight for him, grabs 2, and that's already 7.
It's so hard to deal with this Reply Totem comp. Maori both just taking up residence inside SSG's bushes. Maru walks away with the potential for, what, 14,000 health from that Gus shield. Has picked up a couple of gems, doesn't want to give them away too cheaply. So Maori now will be the prime aggressor here for Reply Totem, but if they just play the slow game, pick up the gems that only spawn on their side of the map, they'll have a countdown.
Pennytor is there, Maru chooses to go a different route, in he goes,
Big
5
damage.
Crow falls down, 1 from the middle, start it, and Totem dominance continues.
And what do you say about that? This is what we said. Reply Totem are going to look to win in the early stages of the game. Kyodog is still level 2. I'm pretty sure Adinho was still level 2 as well. They need to both be level 3 to have any impact here. And that was a pretty anemic showing from the South American squad. Reply Totem got this so far on lock.
No sign of a space station in Hard Rock Mine, and it's do or die. Lose this game and they go home. Reply Totem will go forwards into day 2 as well. Big game for both these teams.
Oh, it's massive. Reply Totem would love a win here, which would mean that they go through pretty much either way. Yeah, that penny damage can be oppressive. Chaos bears the brunt of it and allows Firecrow to start Space Station off with a 3-gem lead.
Well, already doing better. They've picked up more gems than they had in the entirety of their previous game. Reply Totem pinching down now on Adinho, tries to get a bit of a look in. Gadget going to be used and not find any connection. Slight waste there. He just needs these levels, but Maru has the roll on this right-hand side, goes in with the tar barrel. Adinho going to be caught in it as well, slowed down and killed. Mortar already, but Maru's just going to go for that. Say goodbye to that.
Okay.
Short-lived.
Nice turret, bro. Notice there, Adinho tries to use his gadget to get extra credits built up, but he's not ready for Maru, who's now starting to flex on him a little bit. Showing off the mechanics behind the boxes. Ficro's been pulled away from the middle of the map as well. Maru is running some deadly interference, and he gets a kill there as well. Sheer audacity.
Slight
What a
lead, but
pick-off.
down goes Chaos. The mid is completely open now. Bear barreling down this left-hand side, trying to leave these gems. They don't want to pick them up. They'll wait for the Gust to come back and reclaim them, but puts himself at risk instantly to do so.
Maru's going to pick up some as well. Here comes Maru. He's in a great spot. But Adinho gets level 3. He managed to get value off the gadget that doubles his incoming tokens from damage done. So now Clancy is at his strongest. Kyodog also level 3.
So much power from the space station side right now, and this is what Totem didn't want. They don't want the late game. Mori so low, and with 3 gems in hand, he's got to be careful. There's the pinch. Adinho will swoop them straight up, but Maru going in himself. Shield provided, but it's just not going to be enough. Hypercharge is there, and level 5 Kyodog does it all for space station.
With 10 seconds left, Reply Totem have got to find hard engage. Maru just getting peppered down. That surge is looking terrifying. Mori wants to step up here now and find Adinho, but he carries no gems. That's got to be Maru going in, but there's nothing to be done. Finally, we get to see what Space Station can do.
And that's their first game on the board at World Finals here as well. After a clean sweep from Pioneers, they fend off Reply Totem. For now, at least. Still do or die. Will Reply take it? Will Reply Totem take it and go all the way to day 2? Or will Space Station live to fight another day?
Again, keep an eye on Adinho. He doesn't mind dying early if it means he gets those credits built up. With the use of the gadget, he'll throw it out when he thinks he's going to get into a fight, and he can just dump all of his ammo into one of these tanks.
Ficro in the mid portion of the map. Maru catches Kyodog out, but he does get a level 2. Nice super up there from Kyodog. Uses another one, but wastes level 3. Thought he was going to be able to do it, but if anything, a slight misroll from Maru keeps him alive.
Yeah, it's funny. I think Maru maybe wasn't looking to line it up that way, so Kyodog back to level 2. Adinho, his star power gives him half a level in terms of credits. That's why he hasn't. So he's only really hit 1 shot so far. Maru does not want to give him 3 damage at all. Kyodog, fair enough. Shrugs off that, goes up to level 3 now. Looking a little bit more dangerous here through the map as he clips Chaos. 4 gems to Chaos's name, nice little dodge. Kuki Poppy used. Maru wants to try and follow up on the damage. He gets Kyodog, resets that level a little bit more. The Maru not going to stick around. Maru's now been able to slip up that right-hand side, and Adinho is really struggling to find damage. That Clancy looking more like Plankton right now. Maru drops, but job done. Reply Totem even in gems.
Mori with some great positioning, but on the flip side, Kyodog's got more of the same shield provided, but Maru with a beautiful roll, 4 hits. Ficro in a compromised position, but eventually Mori's cleaned up. Adinho will move up the right-hand side and try claim some of Reply Totem's territory.
And he's very close to level 3 as well. Adinho about to become an absolute menace. Pops gadget, Mori sees it, doesn't actually hit him, so nothing gained for Adinho during that window. Now the pressure mounts and Chaos cleans him up. Super available, in goes Maru. 15,000 points of pure HP, folks, and Kyodog is feeling the pressure. Maru moves up, now forced to back away a little bit, and Adinho is barely alive. Here comes the bear. Ficro needs to walk away from it. He knows he's faster, but now he's forced into the corner. Maru comes in. This is dangerous. Another super build up there for the Daryl, but Ficro is still healthy. Oh my goodness. Reply Totem have let it slip. Chaos got picked off in the middle of the map.
Space Station living to fight another day, but down the bottom, Adinho will pick that up, and now countdown starts for Space Station. Kyodog jumps over a shot there as well. I think they can't even hit from mid either. That's only 10. They need another one. They need a reset. Maru gets super, but he falls down. Totem can't get it done. Chaos so low, he goes down. And Space Station will drag it to set 3.
Oh, man.
The 2-1 gods say not today. We're going to keep it rolling. Every match a banger so far here on day 1 of the Brawl Stars World Finals. And Space Station Gaming The #1 seed from South America gets into the game.
Refuse to fall. I want to see this back. I was expecting Totem to walk over them, but eventually Chaos went down in the back lines of Reply Totem. Must have been a great pinch from Adinho coming in there as well. Wonderful stuff from Space Station to be able to turn this one around of what looked like a Reply Totem win.
Again, if Space Station have the ability to control the pace of the game, if they can drag it out like this, then they're going to be stronger. Pound for pound, their brawlers just hit harder. Once Kaidog gets to level 4, Adinho here, he's gold. So every shot comes, double shots come out. Also that super hits very, very hard. Kaidog at 298 DPS over the course of the set. Devastating stuff, finding 8 kills. That surge continues to prove lethal to these tank-heavy compositions.
10 kills for Maro is absolutely huge, and especially on a losing side as well. 10 kills on a losing side is not something you expect to see from a tank, and how many times he went in, got the kills, but eventually it doesn't matter. Once Space Station were powered up, it was out of Totem's reach.
Tough game for Mari, I think, in general, on that meter. Constantly outranged, constantly trying to deny value away from the Clancy. But that means sometimes when you see that gadget pop, you can't really fight him. You can't walk up on him. And Dino is able to use those windows, at least if he can't gain credits with that super, at least generate enough threat to keep the Nita, to keep Maori at bay and drag the game out further. Beautifully done for Space Station under immense pressure, facing elimination. They get it together. And now the #6 seed from EMEA starting to feel the pressure.
We'll be heading on to open business in Hot Zone to decide this one. Space Station want to battle out. They want to get this win. Reply Totem know that if they win this one, they go to day #2, whether that be in the first or second seed. The bans are in Kenji, Larian, Laurie, and Mo over the left-hand side, and the first pick of Clancy for Reply Totem, whose bans will be the Stu, the Mortis, and the Frank.
Once again, Clancy means you want to play for a longer game. Some game types in Brawl Stars simply are longer by definition. They tend to be dragged out a little bit more. Yeah, some key bans of Frank obviously getting taken away. We saw Pioneers look second best over on the B stream there, looked absolutely terrifying on that brawler, showing us exactly why he is so powerful. Saw it obviously in one of the earlier matches here on the main stream too. Mo, Kenji, Larry, and Laurie gonna get a lot of bans over the course of this tournament. Surge the answer here from Space Station, another brawler who only gets stronger as time passes.
Well, onto the second pick for Space Station now. It's kind of, they've split what Brawler's Space Station in the last one. They're both probably going to get powered up by the end of a Hot Zone game, which just lasts for such a long period of time when you're fighting over one zone like this map will be. What will Space Station add to it, though? That is the question.
Look, I like the Clancy here. You've got to be fighting. You're taking damage. You're dealing damage. Like, this is really an all-in kind of map, so you will build that up pretty quickly. The kit here, more likely intended to combine with the last pick here for Space Station, but again, if a map like Open Business, you can really close the gap. You know, that cardboard box gadget is very helpful, of course, to get kit within striking distance, and at this level, kit is used far less supportively and far more aggressively to set up one of those stuns on an enemy brawler to blow them up. It's interesting to see here, though.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like they're trying to get Reply Totem to overcompensate for a tank or something like that, and then be able to just take a clean third pick and have kit just do its own thing. They're going to go with the Barley, combat the kit on the back of something with a thrower of their own. It's an answer, but Space Station can surely just go quite aggressive at the end of this one.
You have sustain if you take the the healing tonic. Throw that gadget down and keep your team healthy because they have to be on the point. They have to fight on the point itself. And also the way this map is set up, throwers can get quite close while still playing behind those walls and being another nuisance. So expect Chaos to really have a lot of damage being dealt over the course of this set. And again, last call, that super from Barley is pretty straightforward, folks. It covers a large area of the map, does damage over time, and here's the Amber. This is such a no-holds-barred brawl composition here from Reply Totem. They really want to get good AoE coverage with their damage, even the Clancy super as well, very effective at covering a wide area.
Yeah, I mean, Gus going to be rolling on in then for Space Station's last pick. You know, if you didn't have the Surge, there'd be it'd be a big opening for a tank here, but it kind of just seems like Reply Totem going to try stay out of the way, probably move the Barley over to the Surge, prevent those levels being gained. And even when Surge goes down, those levels are going to be reset. But if you can get Clancy all the way up, even death doesn't stop him from being powerful.
Homie does not get reset. And it just becomes terrifying. He is probably the strongest brawler in the game because his super does 26% extra damage when he's at level 3, which is huge, on top of a range increase from level 2. Let's see how this plays out now. Murray again wants to throw down that oil just to get higher reload speeds. Inhibitolic being used here by Totem. Murray, the one with big pressure early. Adino gets in his face. Kyodog also with gadget pop. Totem respect it now as that expires. He walks away after taking a tickle. Reply Totem need to get front and center on this point.
I mean, Chaos has thrown out gadgets like they're just not limited. He's used so many already. I think that's probably 3. Maybe using that 4th gear gadget.
Might have to here. I think it's probably the best option. You don't really care about speed gear so much. You have that shield already. Here comes Adino again. Oh, clever. They give the Gus shield to the kid as he dives in. Makes him harder to peel up one of your brawlers, but that blows up in Space Station's face.
Yeah, a lot of control for the side of Reply Totem now, and with this composition, it should be locked down. Barley going to be moving over to Kyodog Shilly, who still remains level 1, regardless of all of what we've just seen. He's still level 1. Shield going to be provided to him as well, and he gets some heals along the way. Jump goes in from Adino. Nice enough, cycles it out, and gets another one as well. Reply Totem with just 1 brawler remaining, pushed all the way back to spawn.
Maru would like to be level 3 by now. He's getting close, in fairness. The Space Station now can make up some of the deficit they just suffered. Maru wants to move forward here. Like Chaos needs to land these shots, and if you overextend, Kit is going to hit you with that super. And honestly, without that extra player, Reply Totem look much weaker. They need Clancy to be in these fights for long periods of time. But the cycling of the supers here from Adino is too much.
And Kyodog's going to have a level 3 when he levels up as well. Totem need to fight back. This running away from them. Kyodog jumps in on the bar. He tries to keep them at bay. They kind of need to ignore him, but at the same time they can't. It's ticking up, but they get them off the zone. Hypercharged Barley goes in, pinned in a corner, but Chaos will fall regardless. What a shot! Steps on that hypercharge by accident, and now it's a battle for the mid.
It looked like Kyodog might have been able to survive that. This would look very different had that happened. Here's Maru, though, level 3 finally. Adino going to dive in. They blown to smithereens. Space Station Gaming. Where have you been all day?
All it took to get started was staring defeat in the eyes and saying no. Space Station on match point now. And Reply Totem, who had one for themselves in the previous set, are now in a really tough position.
Turns out imminent death can have a very motivating effect. Trav?
Who would have thought?
Here we go again. Space Station with that first round here. Reply Totem now at risk of seeing this game slip between their fingers. Yeah, again, straight away, healing gadget being used there by Chaos. Adino dives in, but the follow-up isn't quite there. He has to get it done himself, so that results in a trade, but elsewhere, Kyodog just wins out against Maori.
I mean, what a start for Space Station again. Totem backs against the wall now. They need to get this happening. Another gadget being thrown out there by Chaos. Adino super in hand. Kyodog can use the gadget as well. Super thrown out over the right-hand side to the left by Chaos. Not really finding too much, and more healing provided.
They've got to get on the point. Reply Totem haven't started accumulating any of that capture progress yet, and this could be ugly. That's the third gadget used from Chaos, and it barely gets his team through the fight. He doesn't want to step onto the point either. Kyodog is daring him to challenge. Looking absolutely dominant right now in this surge, and Chaos just gets flattened.
I mean, it was almost 50-0 before Totem even stepped on the point, even thought about it. Kyodog level 3 over the right-hand side has got some pressure and can keep Chaos back for now. But eventually he's fighting, he's battling out. Shield used on himself by Ficro. Super rains down from Maru, but the jump from Adino will say no to that. A super, the last call from Chaos, tries to fend off Kyodog. But still, at this long-range open matchup, he doesn't stand a chance.
Chaos needs to stand on the point, which is not where Barley wants to be, but with the lack of teammates, he has no choice. Maori wants a bit of that extra reload, but Firecrow's hitting awfully hard, and Mari's going to go down here. Time is short. Space Station with a huge lead, and they're continuing to extend it. This is getting dangerous for the Broman Empire.
Totem falling apart. Maru got this level 3. Needs to use his super. Kyodog gets shielded up. They stay on the zone a little bit more. 16% is all they need. A super thrown out from Mori now. Pushing them back bit by bit. Adino trying to get a little bit of a super. Needs to jump on someone. But the hits from Kyodog are so influential. Trade, hypercharge, and Space Station gonna wait for the opportune moment.
Good coverage with that hypercharge from Chaos. Reply Totem clawing their way back into the game, but Space Station is 16% away from having victory, and in they come once more. Adino gets the trade at the very least. Maru goes for the super, but nobody out there to be impacted by it. Kyodog backs away, gets himself that hyper, looks to try and take the fight, but that shield's about to expire. Reply Totem have almost caught up. It's now 4% separated. These two teams of Maru looking dangerous, throws the torrent out. Ficro trying to get around the corner, but Reply Totem, they might have this one. Adino dives in, Mori on the point. Reply Totem, hold on.
What a comeback from Reply Totem.
And now it's them who are staring the death in the face, and they've woken up as well. What a double match point we're about to witness.
This might have been the most insane day one of any Worlds I've ever seen. Space Station are up for the challenge. But Reply Totem hang on in that second round, and here's the decider. Space Station must win here or they'll be going home. Reply Totem, a win here puts them into day two.
Super, already available for Adinho, but Kyodok trying to stay away from Chaos, who's doing so much. Adinho jumps on in. He's gonna go down. Last call comes in as well. Kyodok so low. And SSG, what started in a perfect set, is slowly slipping away.
Maru level 2 now, starting to get a little bit scarier. 38% and counting. Adinho trying to build a super. He's got it available. Another healing tonic thrown down. The dive pulls up short. Adinho misses. And now Reply Totem at 50%.
Vicro uses a shield to keep himself alive, but is that the moment to do it? It's running away. 60% lead near enough for Reply Totem. Eventually Chaos will fall, and SSG get a lifeline, some control, and the percentage starts ticking up for them too.
Mari pops that gadget. Reload speed coming through. Firecrow goes a little bit low, never has a super up. Adinho, oh, they can't get him healed up in time. Kyodog gonna be the one to get the shield instead. And Chaos steps up, hypercharge activated there. Kyodog unable to get any extra percentage, and here come the cavalry for Reply.
Back in the mid, 30% standing between them and day 2 of the World Finals. Vicro takes a few shots to face, and now level 3. Devastating. Big super for them now. Adinho goes in, might be able to get Mori here, not enough DPS. Kyodok, the last one alive. Can he keep SSG in this?
He can't stand him, that's for sure. Chaos able to pick him up there with that super. Vicro comes in, gives himself the shield, but he can't stand on the point. He can't contest. Adinho try as he might. Space Station are sent blasting off again. And the Empire holds strong.
What started as smooth sailing for Reply Totem ended with it going all the way. Eventually, they managed to be victorious and send Space Station packing. They've got themselves to day 2 of the World Finals. What seed will they be going in is now the question.
Tell you what, they really needed that wake-up call. Reply Totem, that first round, they were barely in it. But what a way to come back into this game. They understood they had to play around that kid super, that dive in. Too much for them to deal with. Maru, as the games went on, he's able to build up that level 3 a little quicker and start to use it to pressure the Space Station brawlers down. Quite liberal with his use of that super. Again, you can just see how terrifying he is. And Chaos had to use every little bit of healing he had with that gadget available. And early were they popped.
I mean, we saw on match point for Space Station in this replay. They had a 30% lead. They had a triple kill. They only needed 30% as well. And it still ended up being a Reply Totem win. How hard they had to persevere through that. It's just unthinkable. In terms of kills, it's all Space Station. But Reply Totem got the time on the zone.
Heartbreak. Firecrow, 327 DPS. Kyodok with 15 kills, and still it was not enough. Reply Totem had to fight their way through LCQ. And honestly, there were doubts about them even there. Coming into this group, we knew that South America had sent some powerful, powerful delegates. But now, regardless of the result of Reply Totem versus Pioneers, they will make it to day 2. Seeding, of course, though, is a big difference maker. You take the top seed in your group, you play the second seed from that other group, and iChaos comes out as your MVP. Had a real tough job. As that Barley on Hot Zone, it comes out on top.
Reply Totem setting themselves up for some big success here. They've got to beat Pioneers to top this group, and that is going to be one heck of a matchup. But Space Station, we do sadly have to say goodbye to them. They might have got absolutely decimated by Pioneers, but here against Reply Totem, some would argue they might have deserved to win.
We've seen this, we've seen it in the Worlds in the past. These quality teams come out and unfortunately just stumble. It's really about how quickly you can get your motor running, how quickly you can get started. So that now leaves Group B with Pioneers and Reply Totem both having a win to their name. Obviously, Group A, in the meantime, SK Gaming were able to downfoot esports and will be advancing from that group in first place. They've really shown us some great games. Rival Esports on Humble, we saw how that one went. Humble over on the B stream able to get them, but some insane moments from that game. And well, If you missed Crazy Raccoon versus Zeta Division, I recommend you go back and check it. Every game I feel like we've had here in the main arena has gone to all 3 sets. It's never been closer. We have the very best teams from all around the world giving it their all for our viewing pleasure. And if you're viewing, hopefully it's over at event.brawlstars.com, because that's where you can earn yourself some great in-game loot, including, by the way, a hypercharge if you can get that far down the reward track for voting and answering trivia questions throughout the day. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled. We're there. The B stream is going to be there as well. And we'll be back after the break. Take a deep breath. We're going to see more of the very best Brawl in the world played out for you right here.
You never know, honestly, when you see a Gale come into maps and modes where you wouldn't necessarily expect to see it. It is called for. The Frank is certainly a problem brawler for Zeta Division, and one they want to shut down and stay on as consistently as possible. Chino going to take the right-hand side lane straight into Meow, then giving the Gale on the left lane. It's going to work well into the Nisa either way as well. So I like the way that Zeta are thinking, but Chino needs to really pop off now with this Frank. Allow his team the space to push forwards. Ooh, tough one.
Lots of damage anyways. I mean, if you look at things, even though Zeta Division got the opening kill here, they're not the ones with the most map control. Now, they did manage to sneak up a player on that right-hand side, and Meow is going to be in a back line now. That can be quite annoying, but Chino still finds a great pickup onto Garo. The stun here shouldn't connect, but it still does. Chino knows the range by heart, and he does manage to find the connection.
Big old Blood Cerebro there, but still LG hold their own. Pushing forwards. Oh, Meow will find a nice angle there and does find the connection onto Chino. Charles with 7 gems, very crucial now. As Zeta start to bring back this mid control, it's definitely a concern. Big aggressive type. Patchy wants to go straight for it, wants to get 2 shots onto Meow, who now has the hypercharge as well. On a map like this, it's Rico playing ground. Chino using his though on the right hand side. An early super from Novi, but can he finish this off? Chino's still lurking there. It's going to go in now and find some taps. A nice twister, a huge response, but a miss on the super.
No connection this time around. Now he's still low, but eventually Garo does pick up Chino. And map control is starting to look a bit better here for Zeta Division. The gem lead still in favor of LG, but with this positioning here from Zeta Division, they are quickly catching up.
Well, there they didn't like that penny turret. They tried to get the smash for the Frank Chino, but it remains. And Garo just placing another one down. Nice angles again from Meow here. And now it's looking on. Charles has got 8 gems, but now Zeta Division have matched it. Chino's going to come forward. Hypercharge from Meow. Huge gadget from Chino. It's going to alleviate a lot of pressure from that left-hand side. Getting really stuck in deep now into the spawn. And this is exactly what LG needed now. Popping another hypercharge. Pushing through. Really being a huge threat here. Buys the smash. It doesn't even matter that he's 900 HP because the countdown is with Luminosity.
However, Zeta still have control. They find gem number 10, and the interrupted countdown goes through here. However, look at that. Luminosity are building up some nice map control with that hypercharge bear. It is so difficult for Zeta to get back into position, and that's 12 gems now in the hands of Luminosity. I don't know if there's enough time for 2 gems to spawn. Oh, this is going to be close one, Arc.
They've got to go on the aggressive. The gems are split here, though, as well. But let's see whether they can try and do anything with it. Patch is there, but it's great body blocking. And Charles will hold his own. The first signs of life for Luminosity, and it might just be enough to escape this set. It's far from over. There was not the cleanest of games, but one that they were able to bring themselves back from under the pressure. To create that space on that left-hand side with that Frank was instrumental in turning the tides. But Zeta's comp, honestly, is a very tough one to play into.
Yeah, I was a bit scared, man. Charles at a crucial moment missed the super onto the Frank, so there was no shield onto Chino, but nevertheless, Chino stepped up and was able to clutch things up here for Luminosity. Let's see here. If Zeta have an answer, they would love to just settle this in 2 sets. Be on the safer side here, but Garo gets taken out, and Luminosity now with a big opportunity to build up a healthy early gem count.
I'm loving what I'm seeing there from Chino. Now Patchy just going to survive as well on that right-hand side and stay in position. Now going to be able to heal. Charles finds Garo as well and keeps him low with the 3 gems he has in a turret place that he can't really now defend against. Taps on Charles and a shield, handed over to Chino. Will he find the smash? No! A nice evasion there from Meow, and a counter super as well keeps Chino low. But Luminosity are surviving in this mid still. They've got 6 gems and no sign of Zeta currently.
Meow read through that Frank super so easily. Super from Naui does manage to claim the elimination onto Naui on that right-hand side, but LG still very much in favor when it comes to the gem code. A hypercharge gonna be popped now by Patchy, but a hypercharge super from Naui is gonna keep Patchy at bay. However, the HP situation is not good enough for Naui here. He's in the back line, but he should get dispatched.
Oh, nice little gadget from Charles. Now the countdown for Luminosity is there. Shino coming with a huge hypercharge. It's going to be a real problem for Zeta to play into. He's actually going to find Gare on that left-hand side and keep the aggression onto Meow, but he's buying so much time for his team. There is time, there's a turret as well, but the seconds are trickling. It's now or never. Garo finds on the right-hand side. The gems are dropped. The countdown resets. Time, valuable time here for Zeta. But they're not out of the woods yet, not by a long shot. They've got to go on the aggressive yet again.
They need a kill in the next 5 seconds, either Patchy or Chino, but they are staying out of range. And Luminosity take set number 2. This series is going all the way, and finally, we see some smiles on LG's faces.
The only one who wasn't smiling was Shino, who in my opinion was the playmaker in that set as well. But much needed charisma from Luminosity, because again, Zeta Division, the world champions, are 1 set away from exiting in the group stage, which would be devastating. Absolutely the story of the day. This one, Teddy, is far from over.
Well, it's a set away from being over, Ark, and that is going to be one of the most important set of all those players' careers here. Zeta Division, the World Finals of last year, on the verge of elimination now in that 3rd and final set. I mean, it's going to be do or die for them, because if they win that set, it is going to come down to Luminosity facing Crazy Raccoon later on today. And then that's where the dice will be rolled. However, if they lose here, it's certain elimination for our former world champions.
Exactly that, and then it's going to be seeded and played out, and between Luminosity and Crazy Raccoon. Again, this is the group of death, in my opinion. I was sure Luminosity, watching from the sidelines earlier today, will place their bets more so with the team that lost to Crazy Raccoon rather than Crazy Raccoon themselves. They know how important this set is. What pressure must be on that stage, but it's going to be unthinkable for Zeta, who as an organization, just to let this one sink in, have only ever been first in a World Finals. I mean, their lowest performance has been first place, Teddy. I mean, how many orgs can you ever say that about?
None in the history of Brawl Stars, besides Zeta, obviously. But I mean, looking at the stats here, Chino stands out. Not the highest of damages, but that's not what you need with the Frank. Just those stuns and those nice eliminations. That's the thing that makes Frank so ridiculous right now in the meta, is that he's not always the greatest, but he is so good at trades. Every time you get close to the Frank, even if you're gonna take him down, chances are so high he's gonna take you down with him just because of that increased reload speed when he's up close. It's actually disgusting how well it does, and yeah, you really bring in that sort of like kamikaze approach that is incredibly valuable.
I've got to give a shout out there to Meow as well, because I mean, he's playing a Rico into a Frank, so you're going to expect some high DPS, but I mean, 468 was very commendable. It's not enough on the side of Zeta to keep everything under control, and I mean, this is where Luminosity might be able to find something in this 3rd and what will be the final set of this series. If they can play into that aggressiveness and just kind of get the draft working in a way which goes against how Zeta want to play this one out, this could be a turning point, a real shift in Brawl Esports history. I mean, we've never really ever seen a world champion go from literally hero to zero. It could be happening before our very eyes. And I mean, imagine being in their position when everything, your entire year's work and the legacy of work goes into one draft in open business for Hot Zone. I mean, the tension that's got to be on that stage right now is unthinkable.
It's not a brand new map to the map pool. It's definitely been here for a minute now, but it's also not as traditional of a map as Hard Rock Mine or Safe Zone that have been staples of Brawl Stars' competitive map pool. So maybe that leaves a little bit of room here for some surprises when it comes to the draft. Clancy first pick already locked in here, and I mean, it makes sense. It's a strong brawler, a nice tank counter as well. Not always the easiest one to play out though, and I think that Surge can also do quite a bit of work against it, so that's something something to maybe keep an eye open for. But looking at our ban process here as well, Kenji is actually escaping through, probably due to that double Larry Lori ban.
Let's see whether Zeta will be daring enough to pick it up, because Clancy plays so well against it. That's the problem. The Surge, definitely a safer bet in the eventuality that Luminosity bring in Frank or any real tankier brawler. Daryl, of course, being available here also. It's a great insurance policy to have in that back pocket. A chance to follow things up. I wouldn't mind seeing even a Lu here as well for that kind of area denial here. Certainly going to play well into tanks. They will feed into it and allow that ability to cycle, and a devastating hypercharge as well. I kind of fear, yeah, it had to kind of be Kenji for Zeta. I kind of fear maybe their third and final pick might be Penny here as well. I don't know. They've been championing it today.
They've been doing it
a lot. And let's see whether it might be a time for a shift. Back to Luminosity now for their follow-up picks as well. But I'm really enjoying this Clancy first pick.
Yeah, I'm not
Speaking of the
100%
devil.
sure. This is the thing, though. If you look at the ban process, you know they were going tanks, right? They banned Colette, they banned Nita, their first pick Clancy. They're bringing some tanks in. It's gonna be Kid Frank.
Oh,
it's
no.
cheesy. It's filthy.
It's disgusting.
Is it gonna work out here against a Surge, against a Kenji? Surely our final pick here is gonna be a tank counter as well. What are they gonna bring in? Colette is out of the equation. That would have been perfect against the Frank. They need some damage, maybe a Chester. No, they're actually going for control again with the Gale. I mean, it's an approach for it, that's for sure, but is that enough to stop this Kid Frank cheese that Luminosity are bringing to the world stage?
With no wall break as well on the side of Zeta. I mean, you know, once the kick connects to the Frank, it's just be throwing that yarn over the wall, and Gale's not gonna be able to do the most if stuck behind cover, and I don't know about this one. We'll have to see how it plays out, but I'm worried for Zeta, actually. I mean, you know, imagine going out to a kit at this stage of the competition. It's definitely a region in North America which play it the most, and combined with the Frank, it could be devastating, absolutely devastating. And this Surge as well has to get in the stack. Scary's got to connect. He's got to close the gap early on to be able to provide much for his team. And look at this from Nobby, as well as Gary going straight in onto Chino, who's going to be able to provide the most amount in that regard.
Stun coming through here from Patchy, and that's very nice because it helps Charles get towards that golden stage. He's not there just yet, obviously, and he gets farmed down nicely by Meow. Chino goes for the super, finds the connection onto Naui. It's a 1-for-1 trade here, and Zeta still in the zone are going to be kicking things off here with a slight lead, but nothing too substantial just yet, and a preventive super gadget, sorry, actually from Meow, and a jump in from Patchy. Look at all that action non-stop. Chino is trying his best to make a play, but it's just not enough.
Charles got some huge value, and that is the plan with this Kit and Clancy combo, just to be able to secure those stacks really quickly. And Charles is already on a max level. Clancy is a dangerously thing here as well. Now the Sheen is going to super, going to miss those. That swipe there from the Kenji is just too strong. Gary's on max stacks now as the Surge as Zeta take control of this mid, keeping the possession in their power. LG have got to go really quickly now with this mid to retake it.
That super from Charles absolutely farmed through the Kenji. The hypercharge super from Meow is gonna kick in and knock Luminosity off that zone, but the stunning from Patchy cannot quite connect. Some weird behavior, of course, with a sandstorm, but it is still Zeta coming out on top here. Can Charles kick them off of the zone? I don't believe so. Naui is here to stay, and it's the first match point here going into the hands of Zeta Division.
A very, very crucial game to win, and one that Zeta Division approached in the perfect way. Just to go straight in on the aggressive, farm the opposition, and gain those stacks on those brawlers like the Surge, and like the Kenji as well, to get that aggressiveness going, to cycle in and keep LG on the back foot. Immediately Patchy goes down. That's not great for his team. Charles as well going to be really struggling here. And look at Zeta, absolute dominance on the zone, and already getting that early objective in.
A team wipe 20 seconds into a hot zone game is not how you want to start when you're dealing with a match point situation. The stun here from Patchy results in absolutely nothing. There's no support. However, they do manage to find Naui. Charles is slowly working towards that golden stage, but not just yet. Garo already has stage 4 potentially. Patchy might get the kill here to jump. It's a bit messy, but it's still Patchy getting the kill. However, look at the percentage situation. It's already over 60% locked in for Zeta.
It's crumbling out of control here for Luminosity Gaming, as Zeta have just been all over this game. A huge shift there as well from Yaowen, leaving Patchy all alone. It's 70%, and Zeta haven't skipped a beat since we started. There's so little time now as well, 20% now closing in, and LG note with those pins from Charles, but this one is crumbling and going out of control. Zeta Division are surely going to be able to retake things quickly. They get their act together now to finalize this game.
They're in a great position, but they need control of that zone now. Trying to get in there, goes for the super. The stun from Chino is there to catch him. 10% is all they need. Garo was to jump in onto Chino. Shows trying to deal some nice damage onto Garo. Will find the elimination. Luminosity are catching up, but is it quick enough?
Big fumble there from Chino. You can't make those kinds of mistakes when you're this close to failure. As Zeta Division now just a couple of percent away. A huge hypercharge from Meow. Should be enough, just 1%. And Meow's on the zone. The world champions will survive, but now in their group as Luminosity fall.
Zeta Division done with their group stage now. A loss against Crazy Raccoon, but now a victory against Luminosity means that it is gonna come down to the third and final match of this group to decide who will go through. Everyone is even right now, but the disadvantage here for Zeta is that LG and Elevate still have a match to play. They still have their
in hand. Big, very popular pick rather for EMEA. Saw Joker showcase it in that first game for SK Gaming against Elevate earlier on. Gus has been popular, especially when facilitating an individual brawler who wants to go aggressive, but again, Kenji's have been banned out here. Mo also banned by Eternal Fire.
I like the Gus response. I think this is a good mid, and Rico on the other end, a heavy damage dealer. I feel like this is just kind of a textbook draft so far. I think we haven't gotten anything crazy yet. Obviously, we saw Bull last time. Chuck, specifically on Heist, obviously makes a lot of sense. That's really the only other time we'll see him. Chester, though, this is an interesting choice considering there's been no tank yet. Maybe they just believe in this or want to prevent Humble from heading that direction.
Obviously, Chester has gotten so much stronger since that Star Power made his first shot to 150% damage. Now, he can really nuke you down very quickly. If he can hit it, that is. Clancy here for Humble. So, once again, bringing that one into the fold alongside the Piper. There, folks, is your mid. You've got very oppressive side lanes here in the Rico and Clancy, providing Boss gets going. And then, of course, the Piper to lock it down through mid. I think Chester's a great mid-range brawler. Very powerful. Really hits very hard, but there are no matchups where he has a clear advantage.
I think the Piper into the Gus as well. Honestly, going to be pretty solid, but a Sprout in return. This is clearly to mess with Rico, to mess with Piper, and obviously Clancy, maybe not traditionally seen as somebody that's countered by throwers, but he can't get over those walls. They don't have a wall break outside of a Piper super. This is either sneakily the greatest thing that Eternal Fire could have come up with, or it's going to be another bull pick for them like set one.
Lukey also doesn't want to be using his super to break walls when that's his escape tool. Should Eternal Fire put pressure down on them? Last chance saloon for Eternal Fire. They must win this series. Otherwise, Humble will be through to day 2 in top seed.
Sharpshooters taking off in the mid. Ope, a man to watch out for. Gonna be laning this Rico. I think that's wise. Even though Rico can get these bounce shots, if Ope can just get that opening super, get enough damage to kind of isolate Boss or put them in a spot where he's pushed back, it's really gonna help Eternal Fire claim some of these mid gyms.
Yeah, Ope definitely needs to take some risks in order to do damage here, though. You see him stepping up, and that puts himself in harm's way. Boss wants to stick around. The super is devastating, and yep, those shots will bounce. Beautiful double kill for Boss.
Oh, and now they've gotten a huge reveal in the mid here. There's only a single patch of grass left. Semantic still working on getting to tier 2, but Lukey and Boss tearing away the left-hand side. Hypercharge already available for Boss.
Humble don't need Semantic to win that lane right now, with Boss looking so oppressive here. Hypercharge built up. Lukey as well wants to pressure Mebius away. Has that hypercharge as well for the extra base stats, and Gugu loses out on the right. This is looking grim for Eternal Fire, folks. Make no mistake.
Lukey with the bounce away, even has more distance and a clearing from Clancy. Semantic putting in work. Ope just juggling the enemy brawler on the other side, and Lukey pinning and chilling out. Not even close here. Humble and EMEA's #1 seed are simply a game away from a day 2 at our World Finals.
But they don't break a sweat. It hardly seems like A break in stride for this Humble team. And hey, they're probably happy with that after the close call that was Rival Esports earlier on. But Eternal Fire come in here with so much crowd support. Well, they are at threat of being quenched here straight away.
Bold pick out of Sprout. We're going to need to see it do better here if they want a chance. Lukey once again tapping. Goes for 1, 2. They get 3. Gugu off the board immediately.
This gives Semantic more room to pinch onto mid. Get some credits built up. He has the dash gadget available, so can get a little bit close to Gugu here. He just wants those credits. Boss again, oppressive. Ope not been able to do anything about him on the Sprout so far. A bouncy castle gadget used there for the Rico, but Ope brings him down.
Lukey still left alive and well. Semantic, a dash forward. Mebius just going to force me play a little around the rosies. Lukey breaking all those walls of a hypercharge. Another frag, a big-time takedown, and now a 7th gym claimed for Humble.
So Ope's starting to get into a bit more of a powerful position, but Boss can still circumvent this wall. It might need to be transplanted away. Semantic goes in, doesn't mind going 1 for 1. He is still getting stronger. Ope's in trouble. One shot for Boss would do it. The singular gem that EF have been able to gain goes loose, and Humble are already at 9.
This is a problem, and the next one spawns on their side. Semantic clears the mid. 10 gyms now available in a blue team. All they gotta do is hold the line. Lukey, nobody inside of him. Eternal Fire, a valuable LCQ performance, but the #1 seed from EMEA will have no issue here, taking care of their fellow rival.
That was a game that could have been an email, honestly. Eternal Fire show limited resistance here. In fact, the on-stage Pyro living up to their name more than they were able to. Humble here, happy to end their day 2 with a quick one. Rapidly dispatching Eternal Fire and now throwing them to the wolves that is Rival. Hungry, maybe a little rabid after coming up short against this #1 EMEA squad.
I think it's a big deal for Humble, too. They started off a little slow. It came down to the wire in a matchup where they were expected to win. But you know what? They came out confident. When the big stage, the bright lights went up, this team with holistically not a ton of LAN experience. Lukey hasn't had a lot. Boss really only one appearance. Semantic's been here for several years, but he's got ghosts from his past. Conquering those on day 1, establishing control, and running away with the #1 seed is exactly what they needed.
Here are your stats. Boss looked incredible. Ope tries to pick the Sprout and do a little bit of work with those hedges, but ultimately got clapped. Deadly Rico play here, and we talked about the first couple of picks of this draft. We felt like they were pretty standard, pretty straightforward. Safe mid in Piper. Clancy a threat that only continues to get, more dangerous as the game goes on. And the Rico, very nicely done for Humble, and frankly, business as usual for this team that over the course of the year has showed the greatest consistency from their region. They'll take #1 seed in this group, which means that they take on a 2nd seed from Group B. Now, we don't know whether that's Pioneers or Totem Esports yet, neither of which promise to be easy matchups for them, but man, it's hard not to see them as one of the hot favorites in this tournament.
And now Eternal Fire, questions raised, because the only team they have left today is Rival, who were so close to beating Humble, and Humble just decimated Eternal Fire. And they don't have a lot of time here. I mean, you get one little match of the best 2 of 3 to kind of recoup. And this is a team with a lot of fire, a lot of flair, a lot of emotions. That was something we did not see one time on that stage. I'm concerned for him.
Lukey as your MVP here. Young player out of Germany. Well-deserved Rookie of the Year last year. And was pretty incredible on the Bell especially. We'd love to see that on that first map. Really insane damage numbers, like 450 DPS on a Bell. Almost unheard of here. I get a feeling there's much more to this Humble team that we've even begun to see. But they'll be put to the test. Make no mistake, when they come back tomorrow, of course, make it into the quarterfinals. Oh, buddy, I mean, that is a brutal showing. I barely got settled into this game, and Eternal Fire probably haven't had a chance to build up their stage legs either. And frankly, I'm worried for them. That Rival matchup, I think they're going to be underdogs in that game. Let's recap our groups here.
Obviously, Humble, of course, just took their final one of the day. Going to be a 2-0 lead. Now, Rival and Eternal Fire later on will be fighting for the number 2 seed. On the other end, Zeta Division at 1-1. That's definitely a scary one there, but they take care of business against LG. SK Gaming, of course, just earlier ago, secured 2-0, and now Elevate and Foot Esports very shortly from now will have an elimination match. Goodness.
SK Gaming comfortably emerging from that group number race. So it's do or die for either Elevate or Foot Esports. That is not a game you want to miss. And make sure you're checking it out on event.brawlstars.com, a place to watch along with us. Watch this stream, the B stream, and earn yourself some great in-game goodies. We'll be back with more action from the 2024 Brawl Stars World Finals live from Superfest after these messages.
The 2024 Brawl Stars World Finals are brought to you by ESL, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Once upon a brawl, a new evil emerged. A handsome young minstrel.
Pioneers, 2 grand final wins out of 2 grand final appearances. The number 2 seed in North America, looking today to make the number 1 seed going into day 2. They've looked really, really good for me as well. You've got to consider the fact as well, it's the second best first LAN. I mean, I'm so proud of that boy because like, he's been a competitor in the BSC since going back to like 2020, and even prior to that in 2019. But the first time I casted him was in 2020, and he has not quit. He stuck it out, and he deserves that place on the stage. As we draw our attention to the roster of Reply Totem. Maru, Maori, and iChaos this year have done a fantastic job of making waves in this group. Can they secure the number 1 seed going into day 2?
I mean, the thing is as well, the only gameplay we've got, you know, to base these 2 teams off at World Finals is both of their matchups against Space Station Gaming. Who did better? Pioneers. They did so much better. Reply Totem took it all the way to the 3rd and final set, and the 3rd and final game in that as well to be able to defeat that, you know, opponent, which did really give more resistance than we expected. But Pioneers, smooth sailing all the way through that. And it kind of has to make you think maybe Pioneers have got an edge here.
Well, let's see as the players start to gear up for their matchup. Certainly for Reply Totem, it's been the rocket a year. You know, 3 quarterfinals exits. Their grand finals win in May really did save them in that regard. But the LCQ brought them a lifeline. They really did excel. They didn't drop a set until the golden ticket match against Tribe Gaming, which went to a 3-2 scoreline. So take a look as well towards our predictions, which now after hearing you say that, Trav, I might be reconsidering somewhat a little bit here. Teddy might be onto a winner.
Honestly, I was going to say Teddy's onto something here. After watching the gameplay today, genuinely, I think
Viewer predictions are tie.
I mean, this is crazy. I mean, honestly, at this point, I think it is pretty much a 50-50. Although Teddy's got an incredibly good shout,